Welcome to the Hollywood Outsider, an award-winning weekly podcast focusing on film and television. These are the only awards that really matter. The 2022 Ho Awards for film and television. Let's kick off the show. My name is Aaron Peterson. Joining me today are my fellow hosts, Amanda Sink.
Hello, Aaron and Troy.
And Troy Heinrichs. That was a weird way to introduce him.
Hello, Amanda and Aaron.
Do you guys remember how to do this? We haven't actually recorded a full... John won't be here. I shouldn't... I always forget because we have 4 now, and like one's on one week and one's not on the next. John will not be here this week. He felt that he did not see enough films to qualify for this. And also, I think he just didn't want to come back till next week.
Also probably that.
I think he was too busy watching nature out his window. Real life documentaries.
Yeah. He keeps sending videos of, hey, look, snow. Yeah.
And deer.
We've seen these things. We live in the Midwest, man. I understand it's new to you. The rest of us have seen this quite frequently. We are full swing into 2022, and we've already lost Betty frickin' White, Bob Saget, Peter Bogdanovich. We lost the great Sidney Poitier.
Yeah, so fuck this year.
How's your year going so far?
Good. I watched Tick, Tick, Boom for the 87th time.
You've got a problem.
Oh wait, no, now it's 88. We're
going to talk about Tick, Tick, Boom. I don't quite understand that, but on the plus side, I will say I think it's, even though we lost some powerhouses the last week, it is to me fantastic that we started once again. We're in a pandemic. We're still in it. Blah 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 blah. But we started. Box office was dead. We ended on one of the biggest movies of all time, which to me is just one more cementation. I'm making words up. Of the fact that movie theaters are still relevant, contrary to those that wish them dead.
Even though technically you could have seen Tenet in the movie theater at a more safe time to go see it, yet it didn't do as well as Spider-Man.
Yeah, but that was like right at the beginning.
People didn't know. Yeah,
people know
like
stuff
summer
now.
and people were already going outside and doing stuff.
They were a little leery still at that time. I think people are starting to come around. They're like, you know what, Scream and Spider-Man and Scream, and then you got a Batman's coming out in March.
There also wasn't a vaccine, I don't think, when Tenet came out,
There
right?
was not, no.
So that makes a huge difference. Now people are like, okay, and we see the efficacy of it, and, so then they're willing to.
Well, 60% of America sees the efficacy of it.
Anyway, let's move on. We don't want to get into that because we don't have PhDs.
No.
Yet. Well, if you haven't listened to our Ho Awards before, we do ours a little bit different. No female or male, for example. We just do actor. So when you have acting categories, it's just actor, supporting actor. We also, basically when we decide actor, it's based on their collection of work in film and or television. So if they've been in multiple movies, we'll mention both those movies. You know what I mean? So that's how we do it. We don't actually specifically say it has to be one movie. And if you want to follow along, the categories are in the show notes or the website post. So bring it up. Let us know what your picks are on social media at Buy Popcorn. We're on Facebook, The Hollywood Outsider, or you can find thehollywoodoutsider.com as the actual website. Each of us 3 will award our winners in each category. And at the end, we'll combine ours with listener picks to determine what was the Ho TV series and movie of 2021. You guys ready?
Ready, Freddie.
Ready.
Okay. I would devote a little bit of time here to talk about the Golden Globes because they recently awarded stuff, but I don't think anyone saw it, so I don't think it counts.
I don't think anyone cares.
No.
What's a Golden Globe?
Exactly. That's what every celebrity said.
Yeah. That's the funny part to me, actually, is because it should have been such a big ordeal that there was nobody willing to present, that they aren't able to do like a recording of it. Yeah. And the majority of the world was just like, hey, the Golden Globes aren't doing that thing. And everybody else was like, all right, cool. And we all moved on with our lives.
That's how much we cared.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and saw the list of winners and I was like, oh, that's right. They awarded them last night. Gee, forgot.
in a press release.
And the nominations were announced originally by Snoop Dogg. And I'm like, I think that says everything you need to know about where they're at currently in terms of acting and performance. They had Snoop Dogg break down the nomination. Nothing against Snoop.
I was going to say, don't hate on Snoop.
I don't hate on Snoop. I'm just saying, in terms of thespians, I wouldn't put Snoop at the top.
2022 so far is like the best year because we have one less award show. Now we just got like 5 more to go, and we can be done with award shows permanently.
This is true.
So kudos for 2022.
Let's get it down to just Emmys and Oscars. That's all we need. And the whole awards, Emmys and Oscars. That's it. That's all you need.
Just the Oscars. The Emmys are crap too.
And the whole awards. Make sure you follow that up with ours.
Can you
Oscars and the whole awards?
God damn it, man. And hey, anybody that happens to be listening that might win something, let me know. I'll get you a I'm a Ho t-shirt. there's your award.
Could you imagine if there was like some celebrity out there
like Benedict Cumberbatch is listening? He's like, oh, snap, I won. You didn't. I'm just saying, but if you did. Maybe
he's got the blazer on. He goes up to the stage and then takes off the blazer.
Honestly, he was really great in The Power of Dog, though.
He was.
Props to him. And also, he went full frontal. So, like, that's always, it increases my barometer of, like, how great an actor is.
That's what she said.
Because of how much they're willing to devote showing themselves the way women are. The women are shown. And they're hardly even like having a conversation about what they're going to be exposed to. Men have had the blessed life where they've been like, nah, I don't think I really want to do that. And they're like, that's all right, man. We'll just rework some things.
So are you saying that
he elected to do it?
Women should not be awarded based on their tatas, but men should be awarded based on their badang-a-dang.
No, I'm just saying he would have had to explicitly say,
this should be part of the
okay
criteria for an award. Is he dropped the dunk. Like Bruce Willis should have won for The Color of Night, is what you're telling, or at least been nominated for that classic performance.
I mean, Ben Affleck should win lots of awards if that's the case.
For showing his Batman.
Oh, yeah.
This is very uncomfortable.
We should move on.
Yes, we should. All right, first award. This is before we get into TV and film. What was your best TV or movie watching experience of 2021?
This was actually kind of hard because I was thinking about all of the great stuff that I'd watched from the festival, and I tried to think about things that I'd seen in the theaters specifically because that's when I tend to have the best experience. So television kind of got kicked to the side for this, and I went through my list of films. And the thing that stuck out to me the most and had the most impact on me as a collective experience was Spider-Man No Way Home. You know, that was one where I felt connectivity to the rest of the audience in my theater. And that energy just, I could feel the passion from everybody else in that auditorium. And it was packed. But thankfully, I was at the really nice one. And they spread you out and you've got reclining theaters. So that alone is really great.
That's so fancy.
Yeah, I mean, I remember laughing, I remember cheering, I remember crying, I remember all of the slate of emotions and the anticipation and excitement of going to see it. And I feel like that's what makes the experience of watching a movie in the theater is great, is the combination of all of that alongside people that are strangers that aren't on their phones and are being great humans.
I'm going to piggyback because that's my answer too, is Spider-Man No Way Home. And a lot of that is because it was the first time I was in an almost sold out theater all year. I saw it twice, and both times was pretty much sold out. And it was amazing to me because I went to one, which was that Thursday night. It used to be midnight, but now it's like the night before showing, premiere showing. And that's all the diehard fans, like Spider-Man fans. They loved it. They went crazy. We all cheered and smiled and laughed and cried at the same moments. And then you go to, I went on a Saturday matinee. It's full of kids. And it's kids of all ages and creeds and colors and sexes and everything else. And everybody is enjoying the movie the exact same way. They're crying, they're laughing, they're screaming, everything else. One portal opens, yay! Another portal opens, yay! You know, and I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just telling you what they yayed about. Are you okay? Ooh! You know, there's just all those moments we're all collectively on the same vibe, feeling the same emotions. And seeing little kids just respond to the portals the same way as I am makes me feel like parenting win on the parents' part, because those kids knew what I was excited about. So yeah, Spider-Man for me too.
I saw it the Monday after Christmas in a fully packed theater, but it was in the IMAX theater, not in the normal theater that I normally see it in. And because of that, I did not make it my best TV or movie watching experience, because in the IMAX theater, the seats do not recline and the floor is sticky. So
Why is the floor sticky?
Why is the floor sticky? And does that have anything to do with you?
Freaking filthy animals that can't clean up after themselves.
That's fair. And you're welcome. Because I was in that IMAX theater in that same seat right before you got there.
That's right.
Spilled pop all over it.
I chose Cobra Kai because I got to ring in the new year twice because Cobra Kai season 3 started on New Year's Day 2021 and Cobra Kai season 4 started New Year's Eve 2021. So it was the best New Year's experience I have had in my entire life 2 years in a row because I was stuck inside in the dark winter, avoiding all of the Omicron, Deltacron, Comicron, crud. And I watched the most beautiful television series ever made twice. And it was amazing.
Ever made?
The Cron crud?
Ever made.
Wow.
There's no reason Cobra Kai should work. And it works every single year.
Fair.
Yep.
I mean, really, when you think about it, it's got a deeper mythology than even Lost, and it's still working. I mean, it's ridiculous, absurd, and ridiculous.
I might go on the record and say that I've enjoyed Cobra Kai more than Lost.
What?
What just happened? Elaborate. No, wait until we get there, because I'm sure it'll come up on your, awards.
Sure.
So let's get to those. All right. So most personal discussion, creating TV or movie news item of 2021. Meaning this is something you talked about more than anything else in movie or TV.
Well, it only was because of Aaron Rodgers, really. But it's the whole Jeopardy host debacle.
That was a mess. Still is.
All I heard about was Aaron Rodgers, Jeopardy host. Aaron Rodgers, Jeopardy host. And then I'm like, well, what about LeVar Burton? And everybody's like, yes, reading Rainbow. And then all of a sudden, here comes Mike Bleepin Richards, who didn't really do any of this stuff other than just for glitz and glam so that he could make it look like he did a real search process. But no, he was just going to appoint himself in charge in the first place. And then he was a freaking asshole.
Yep.
And so, yeah, he got kicked to the curb. So good for you, Mike Richards. I hope you enjoy your time not being on Jeopardy ever again. And then it was just weird because then it was like, well, Mia Bialik's going to do the evening thing, but she's not possibly able to do the daytime thing. So then let's get Mia Bialik to do the daytime thing along with Ken Jennings, who everybody just said, just give Ken Jennings a job in the first place. And we could have avoided this whole thing.
I actually like both of them. I think they both do a very admirable job. It's
just like exhausting that they should have just done it to begin with.
Both of them way better than Mike Richards. I still remember the day I heard, it was a punch in the gut when I read that. I'm like, the guy that produces it just gave himself the job. Really? We don't have a problem with this across the board. And then thankfully you find out he's just a ravaged douchebag across the board.
I mean, I don't know if thankfully is the right word, but I see what you're trying to say.
Well, I mean, we found out.
Thankfully he was a douchebag.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have to listen to
Thankfully we did
be
find out. That's fair.
Yeah. Wouldn't you feel worse if he had already started the gig and everybody else went on to other things and then bam, this raging douchebag is now in charge, this sexist raging douchebag? My opinion, theoretically. I'm not saying it's a fact.
I think it was reported in the news. It's a fact.
Okay, it's a fact. I guess it's, that's how the news works. Facts. Sometimes.
Facts based on opinions.
Depends on the channel, right? Good one.
So Jeopardy host debacle.
Amanda, what about you?
Mine is all about the MCU. We got like a couple
we don't talk
pieces.
About that enough.
Well, to be fair, I did devote an entire sub podcast thing on the Hollywood Outsider for WandaVision. So I did talk about MCU a lot this year.
You did.
But
you talked about Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Sometimes I think, did you watch the whole show? Because all I'm hearing about is Scarlet Witch. She's the only character matters.
Okay, no, I gave you guys lots of lore and information.
It was actually a very well done
it was very well
show.
Done.
Well done.
Thank you.
Episodic show, whatever the hell it was. Last year, go check the feed from last January. You'll see it.
Yeah. But we learned a lot about how these Marvel shows are going to, on Disney Plus, are going to be connected to the movies and that this is all continuity. And that was something that was reported, but then there were some ifs and maybes from some people, speculation that maybe it wouldn't. And the other piece that we found out through MCU is that more recently, the Netflix Marvel shows are connected. And I won't say I won't say too much about that because I don't want to spoil anything because it is more recent, but it is a confirmation in sorts. And I think we've had this conversation on the show not too long ago, Aaron, about how it was said that they weren't going to be connected by Feige. And then it's like, no, they are connected. And then it's like, no, they're not. And then it's like, you watch something and you're like, no, man, that's definitely connected. You use the exact same actor in the exact same role from the Netflix Marvel shows. So it's got to be connected.
I will say this without spoilers or context. One thing we learned in 2021 is that Andrew Garfield and Kevin Feige are both liars.
You should have saved that for the end when we give our teachable minute of 2021.
Too late. Too late. No, that's a good point. And I think we were all kind of concerned about it in terms of how connected are these going to be? Like how much information, how many of these Marvel shows do I have to watch to be able to still enjoy the movies and vice versa? Because there are shows that I don't necessarily want to watch. And it turns out they're pretty invested. Like Falcon and the Winter Soldier really paints a strong picture for how the next Captain America movie is going to roll. Florence Pugh is very prominent in one of the shows. Won't say which one.
What If is connected to, which was something that I think was...
Yeah, but that's kind of an offshoot. I mean, that gives you a lot of leeway.
But that was the one that was like, there's no way that we can connect this because the entire concept is like, what if something else happened?
Right.
And now that we know with the vastness that exists of the multiverse, those things can and will be connected, at least in some capacity. And I'm not even going to say anything about where that comes from either, just because, I'm trying to be very wary of spoilers for people who are a little bit behind the times with so much content we have.
Get moving. Let's go.
But that feels like a big deal to have to not only invest in the 20 plus movies that have existed in 20 years or whatever, but now you have to be invested in all of these shows to understand the future.
I don't love that.
I know you don't.
Granted, I haven't really not at least semi-enjoyed all the Marvel shows, but I'm worried about where that leads to other Disney brands because if Star Wars starts doing it, like I don't really like Boba Fett so far. I have 2 episodes and I'm already almost off of that train. There's a pun there. But I just don't have any interest in it. I don't want to have to keep watching that show to enjoy a movie down the road. You know what I mean? I get why they're doing it because Marvel thinks they can't fail, and by fans' assumptions, I think they're probably right so far. But I don't want that. I don't want everything connected. I want some of it connected, sure, but I want it to be able to stand alone. And there's definitely moments this year that have shown that you kind of have to watch their show to get what's coming next. Like the new Doctor Strange movie, I feel like WandaVision is going to play very heavily into that movie. If you hadn't seen that show,
100%,
how much is that going to affect your enjoyment of that movie? That is a concern to me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think it's a really great concept because
it is.
You look at what happened with the Dark Tower movie. The Dark Tower movie failed miserably.
Always with Dark Tower.
I'm just saying, the original plan for the Dark Tower was to do all 7 books. Some books were going to be movies. Some books were going to be TV shows because the books lend themselves to longer form story content. Mm-hmm. And because they tried to shove it all into one movie, they ruined the entire principle of what the MCU is trying to do. And if they would have just done the original plan on Amazon, it would have been great because it works. It does work, unless it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which sucked.
I didn't think it sucked, but it took a long time to get moving.
Did you say Falcon and the Winter Shoulder?
Yeah, because maybe. That's what I felt like. Like, just shrug the shoulders like, eh.
I love how you're really trying to make that shoulder mistake work. I respect that.
But I'm with you, Troy. I wasn't crazy about that one either.
I couldn't get past the second episode. I haven't gotten to Boba Fett's episode 2 yet, so maybe it'll be the same way.
The ending of Falcon and Winter Soldier is great. Unfortunately,
it is.
That's the only great in all the episodes, and I don't understand it because I think together those two are fantastic. So it feels like a wasted opportunity.
So basically, you're saying watch the last episode and I'm good because
I think so.
This is the character that we've already seen in some other thing, so I don't really need to watch it because I already know the character's there.
Kinda. I think you have to watch the second one because it introduces a new character, and just go ahead and watch number 5. very important to what's going to happen
stuff to watch
in the future with Captain America. I know there's so much stuff, which we got to get to. So here's my news item. Amanda, that was a good one. Mine is HBO Max's decision to go day and date with its entire 2021 slate. This was their
scream if you're surprised. First of all,
no one's surprised. This was an experiment that, frankly, I was a little bit terrified of, because if it's horribly successful, that means it could kill theaters. There's also the positive that maybe theaters can make a ton of money, and then streaming also did well, so it's win-win, da-da-da-da. But my whole concern was the same thing that's always been, which is theaters need exclusivity, because it's essentially, that's what creates an event. And that's how that's how you keep theaters engaged, because theaters aren't going to want to carry something that streams at home. And they were very clear about that. We'll do that right now, but after this year, after this announcement, we will never do this. We're not doing this again. The theaters were clear about that. And you can tell because Warner Brothers has confirmed, we're going to have exclusivity windows for all of 2022, that didn't work the way that they had hoped. They were kind of just, we don't want to keep pushing everything back. We want to have successful movies. And because of that, I think they lost a lot of revenue, especially at the worldwide box office, which recovered very early in 2021. And they lost a lot of that money that they probably could have garnered. Especially here in the States, they definitely did.
It might have garnered more money on the studio side, but what it did is it brought to the table the ability for the streaming service to really cement itself as one of the most successful streaming services out there, to the point where Warner Brothers said, screw you, mothership AT&T. We are now going to be our own entity. So now Warner Brothers Media is independent from AT&T. I still don't know how that's going to affect my free access to HBO Max, because I am an AT&T wireless customer. But they're moving on to their own thing, and they're going to combine with Discovery Plus to make one giant media conglomerate thing, which is like amazing. And I can't wait for that package to actually be still $15, because that would be just killer. So I think that what it did is it actually was better at the end, because one, it solidified the streaming presence. It got more people onto the streaming platform and away from others and spending the dollars with Warner Brothers. Two, it also shortened the exclusivity window, which is what we all wanted in the first place.
What I was trying to get to, but you cut me off. So that's cool. No, you go ahead.
Because you were so like, theaters got to make money. Theaters don't got to make money. They freaking sell like $10 popcorn.
That's not true. They do need to make money. They don't make the money
on the movies.
But they don't get money from popcorn if nobody's buying a movie ticket. We agree on that?
Yeah, but you're also saying that because they made this decision when it was during a pandemic, when half the seats weren't available to be sold in the first place. So it's not a valid statement that it was the choice to make it go day and date caused the issue. It's because there was half the year nobody was going to the theaters.
No, I'm just saying that they made a line in the sand for the whole year, which did cost them money. They themselves have said, we're not going to do that again, because they know that they lost money, especially domestically. They did. There were positive attributes, which is it shortened the theatrical window, because the theaters came to the table and said, look, we're never going to do day and date. It's never going to happen. It does not benefit us in any way, shape, or form. They do need the theaters, because theater revenue is always better than streaming revenue, because streaming revenue is very minuscule compared to what they can make from a theater, especially when you have an event film. Now small dramas, it's a struggle. I mean, I think it's going to be a struggle bus for a while, but blockbuster entertainment, they want them in theaters, because that's where they make money. And by the end, yes, it basically achieved somewhat what they wanted to do, but they also lost a lot of money. They had to lose a lot of money by paying off all the talent, which is better than the Scarlett Johansson fiasco, obviously, where Disney apparently forgot to tell her they were going to do a day and date.
But she won, so.
Yeah, but they didn't have any real domestic hits. Like other studios, all the other studios had at least one domestic hit across the board. Warner Brothers didn't have a single domestic hit. Now, you can't just ignore that. You can't just look at that and go, oh, well, I mean, the streaming was a success. No, because even Disney, who had some day and date stuff, still had, I mean, granted, they charged for theirs, but they still had some successes. And Warner Brothers they only had a couple movies that even made over $100 million. And they were movies that would have made far more in different times, obviously. And worldwide.
It's because they buried all their money in sand.
Maybe. But I mean, they even called Dune a success. Dune barely made over $100 million in the US. They would never call that in regular times a success for how much that movie cost. It's because overseas it still did pretty solid. And that made up the difference. If overseas didn't do that, you would not be getting Dune 2. So yes, they won on some fronts, but they lost more than they won. They did cement themselves as a service, but I've already seen some people who are like, well, we're not going to continue if they're not going to have day and date going forward. So they're going to cancel their subscription, which I don't get because there's a ton of content on HBO Max, probably more solid content than I would say is on Netflix, or at least close. Right. But we've had this debate forever. Let's move on. We're in 2022. We got to celebrate 2021 so we can move on. It's time for TV. Are you guys ready for the awards?
Sure.
Well,
oh, that's a question to us. I thought he was asking the audience.
Yeah, the excitement
like they can respond.
Is palpable. The excitement is palpable. Are you ready for the awards?
Yes, I'm ready.
There we go.
My throat hurts now.
I don't care. It's probably COVID. All right. Now, TV. First category, best special effects and or stunts on television. What say you, Troy? You're up first.
WandaVision, hands down. I thought I watched a movie every single week, especially when they did the black and white and color mix, especially in those first couple episodes. And then just the freaking battle at the end, the giant floating in the air and the runes and everything. Like all of it was just amazing. Like I couldn't believe like this is television. Like I said that during Lost on the pilot episode, but I'm like, this is television today. It was freaking ridiculous. It was I just couldn't believe it.
Well, you're going to be surprised that this is one of the few categories that I don't have WandaVision selected for.
What? I am surprised.
I actually gave this one to Hawkeye because I felt like the stunt choreography was so impressive in all of those scenes. And the way they managed to work with all of these stunt performers. And I mean, honestly, I'm kind of ashamed of us now thinking about it that we don't have an award for the stunt performers. Shame on us when we've been asking that of the Oscars.
This is the freaking category. It says best special effects and or stunts on TV.
But
this is it.
That's about the show. That's not about the people. Yeah.
You know what? I do not have enough t-shirts for each stunt performer. So boom, show.
So, yeah, Hawkeye was just hands down. I thought it was so engaging in so many ways, but the stunts were just fantastic. And they used a lot of people who, at least, one actress who was a stunt performer herself. And so I thought that was kind of great.
Well, I'm gonna cement the trifecta of Marvel shows with Loki. Loki is my answer because, and this is what's funny is I didn't really like Loki. I'm not going to watch season 2. That's how much I just didn't care about Loki. But I can't argue that every single time I watched it, I felt like this is an extraordinarily imaginative, creative, visually realized world that is astonishing that we're getting on TV.
That is very good choice. Very good.
So there we go. There's our 3. Apparently, just Marvel for special effects and or stunts. Now we go to best villain or badass.
Okay, so remember how I said that WandaVision wasn't selected in the last one, but I indicated that it would be selected in others.
Yeah,
this is one of those
every
categories.
Single category?
No, okay. Not all of them, I promise.
Okay.
Catherine Hahn as Agatha. I thought she was just insane. I mean, we all knew that there was something about her, even people who weren't familiar with the comic book or the lore of Scarlet Witch, you knew there was something off about her, but she played being the nice neighbor so well. And then her transition into this dark witch who has this insane amount of power. I mean, I just thought Catherine Hahn was magnificent. And plus, when you have that great scene of her where it was Agatha all along, man, so wonderful.
Well, it says you, but fine.
Wait, you're right. It is me. I'm not even looking. We actually have a chart on who goes when, and I'm not even paying any attention to it. I'm just so enthralled.
You're not.
I'm enthralled with the Agatha. I'm like, that was a great choice, Amanda. Good job.
He was not paying attention.
I was
100%.
not at all. I was not. I was thinking about Loki still. So my award for best villain and or badass is Clancy Brown's Kurt Caldwell from Dexter: New Blood.
Ooh, that's a really good choice.
I know, right? It's probably better than Agatha. So here's the deal. If you haven't seen Dexter: New Blood, I'm a fan. We're going to talk more about it. I'm sure. I know for a fact we'll talk more about it later. I have loved this reinvention of Dexter. He's my second favorite vigilante, I guess, if you want to call it that, next to Batman. And the problem I felt that surfaced with the latter seasons of that show when it was originally airing was the lack of really formidable villains. I mean, for the first few seasons, and especially up through John Lithgow in season 4, Dexter had some fantastic competition in the murder department. And he's such a enigmatic character. He's unique. He's also kind of vicious, dexterous. You need someone who rivals him. You need someone who can be equally as charming, equally as vicious. And that's what Kirk Caldwell was able to do thanks to Clancy Brown's performance, because he was able to take a character who at any minute could go from the nicest, sweetest guy to holy shit, I'm scared as hell. And everyone in the room should leave. Leave now. Leave frickin' now. Like he's always been a great actor. I think he's strong in everything he does, but I really, really was impressed with his role here.
And that's a great point about how high Dexter set the bar in the early seasons of the show. And I was fully not expecting for whatever big bad villain Dexter would have to go against in this season. I did not expect it to be what Caldwell became. And that is an excellent choice. I still stand by Agatha, but it is very close.
Troy, because I see your name next on the list, right?
Yeah, Aaron's obviously in the 1% because he can afford Showtime and streaming and all that other stuff, and the rest of us
they
can't.
had 30-day
like
free trials, man.
And then I paid for 1 month so I could finish it out.
I can't watch all of the original Dexter in that 30 days. I mean, that's a lot of Dexter.
You should do it.
I had an honorable mention of Agatha just for Amanda in her honorable mentions. But I picked John Kreese because you got a double dose of the Kreese this year, both season 3 and season 4. I loved Kreese in season 3. He was just so diabolical, and the whole bet in order to shut down Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang if they end up winning in the All Valley tournament that you get to see take place at season 4. And I just really also enjoyed his badassery in season 4 as well, as he just really tries to come into his own and convince Terry Silver to come back and work for Cobra Kai. So John Kreese gets my nod for a double dose of super badassness.
You just like the way that he holds his collar.
I love the way I do. I watch it all the time. I just want to walk around like that with my fist clenched.
People will look at you very strangely.
Your chest hair popping out and your hands just like popping the side collar going.
No.
Thanks so much for the tofu. I appreciate it.
And then
Can I tell you that is...
Thanks so much for the tofu.
Can I tell you guys that is one of my biggest turn-offs in the entire world, is like seeing somebody with their exposed chest hair.
It's a good thing I don't have any. You're never going to have that problem for me.
I thought it was John Kreese specifically.
No. I'm not that mean.
Well, yes, Martin Cove's chest hair. That's the weirdest turnoff, but I cannot do it. When me and the hubby are in the room and he's watching Cobra Kai, I'm like, I'm out! And then I leave.
Role play and I Photoshop it and then like print it out in my 3D printer. Amanda,
I'm gonna get a hold of your husband and be like, the next time you're getting ready for love time, I want you to walk in there with a gi on and just hold the frickin' collars, man. Just hold them with your hands and just walk in that room and just burst through the door.
And just like start rubbing your chest hairs.
No,
like,
you don't have to rub it. You just
fingers.
hold the collar. Because you can't fold your arms, because apparently that would make too much damn sense. You got to hold the collar.
That's funny.
Fighting positions
So
for
funny.
his chest hair.
All right, best supporting actor. And remember, we don't do gender here, so just actor. Who's the best supporting actor? Troy.
Well, apparently I was schooled earlier this year that I said that this person was a lead actor because I feel like he does a lead performance. So because he's able to give a lead performance,
Oh my God.
and has that great ability to be a lead actor in whatever he does, Brett Goldstein from Ted Lasso gets supporting actor for this year.
Great. Good. I'm so glad to hear you say that. Can you say it one more time? What category he's in?
Yeah, he gives a lead performance as a supporting actor.
I can't stand you.
So funny. I'm gonna, Amanda, even though I'm after you, I'm just gonna jump in because I get the same award. So I concur with you, Brett Goldstein. I think he is a wonderful supporting actor and really helps showcase Ted Lasso himself.
Since that's what the name of the show is.
Yes, because the show is called literally Ted Lasso. I don't recall it being called anything else, right? Like it's not.
Yeah, no.
I don't think so.
No.
But Apple could steal the thing off of Disney's playbook, and instead of having the book for Mandalorian and make the book of Boba Fett, they could make Brett Goldstein its own spinoff.
They're going to make just an actor show? Or are they going to make,
they're going to make Roy Kent. Yeah.
Roy effing Kent.
Roy effing Kent.
Oh, there you go. So I went with Florence Pugh from Hawkeye when she's in that
Spoiler
show.
alert.
Is it
No,
I mean,
hey,
it's been
the
out
awards.
long enough, I feel
It's
like.
the award. You know what? It was done by Christmas. If you haven't caught
in
up,
2021.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's true. Okay, so she is magnificent to me, and we all loved her when she was in Black Widow, but here I felt like she was even more on top of things and hilarious, and she just is a total badass in so many ways. I love her and her range and her ability to get a laugh out of me from a character that itself seems like she's very dry. She's supposed to be very dry, but her delivery, Florence Pugh's delivery, is what makes everything so wonderful. Kate Bishop, you like mac and cheese?
The mac and cheese speech alone is worth some kind of Emmy.
100%.
Get a hold of us, Pew. We'll get you a t-shirt.
Florence is the only reason we watched Black Widow. Because without Florence, Black Widow would not have been good.
What are you talking about? Relax, dude. Granted, the posing thing was pretty great, but I think I still would have enjoyed Black Widow. It was a good flick.
It was a good movie. She definitely made it better. I will say that.
Much better.
We're not on movies. Why are you jumping so far ahead?
Well, I
just
did
saying,
mention Black
Florence
Widow and
Pugh is
Florence
a
Pugh.
gem. I agree with the choice.
But I'm still trying to understand. So you don't think Black Widow would be worth watching at all if Florence Pugh's not in it? Your
Correct.
verdict. Okay.
I
Sit
was
with
bored
that.
for a lot of it.
It's like
So
watching Boba Fett.
when is his last day on the show again?
Shade.
I said I liked Florence Pugh.
Yeah, but you're
Agree with
hating
you.
on Black Widow.
So it was okay.
You know what happens when you give Scarlett smack? She sues you and you got to pay her a lot of money. That's what happens.
That's
Look
true.
It happened to Disney. Smacked him in the face.
I
She ain't scared
still
of you.
agreed. I still agreed with her contract. I gave her smack for the theater version, not for the streaming version.
So weird. All right. So best actor. I go first here. My choice for best TV actor is Kate Winslet from Mayor of Easttown. That is a show on HBO Max, which followed a real person who's really flawed as a detective while she's trying to investigate a murder of a young girl. And, you know, at first I thought, well, it's just going to be another by the numbers mystery, murder mystery. And I love those. So I started watching. Her performance is just dazzling. I mean, there's a reason why she wins Oscars and Emmys and everything else and why she's beloved by so many. She is a fantastic actress. And there's not a single moment in that show where she is a part of it that feels fake because of her. She is that good. She makes every single scene she's in pop. Just an amazing performance.
Well, for similar reasons, but a completely different actress and show, I am going with Elizabeth Olsen from WandaVision.
What?
I'm surprised.
Hold
Right?
Wow,
the
that was
fort.
totally out of left field.
I know. I sorry to really bring this on you guys. I hope you're feeling okay and you're not having like a heart attack or anything. But yeah, that's my choice. Elizabeth Olsen brought to life a character that I absolutely love. And the grief that her character had to go through, and yet she's showing you her perspective. Like you can really buy into this is a real world. Like, you know that there's something wrong, but you believe her and you believe what she's thinking and feeling. And you believe that it's real to her and that she needs it. And when she is processing her grief and she makes these decisions and she goes a little bit dark to defeat Agatha. And at the very end, very end, when she makes that decision to let go of everything she loved and built an entire world for to be with, you can feel in your soul and from all the tears streaming down your face, just how deeply impacted her character is. And that is Elizabeth Olsen's performance. And I'll be perfectly honest, in the movies, she had very little to do. And so I was concerned that she would not be the best choice for this role. But she really got to show her range and her ability as an actress in WandaVision, and has really made me look forward to everything else that she can do.
I would have agreed with Aaron if I had seen the show, because I heard nothing but good things, but it's on the list. I just have not gotten it there. So
a never-ending
list. I had to
list.
go with William Zabka, otherwise known as Johnny Lawrence, because again, this show should not work, and it does, and it's because it's Johnny's story. And I thought his performance in season 3, which aired January 1st, 2021, was really great, in how you get a little bit more of the backstory between him and Kreese, and the things that he had to deal with and the fallout of the battle at the school, and how he kind of failed as a sensei, as a leader, and then kind of comes into his own towards the end of the season as Eagle Fang comes on the map. But then in season 4 specifically, no spoilers, but Zabka just really brings it to another level as he learns Miyagi-Do karate. And of course, I think the best part about it is when he understands women's studies for the first time in the gymnastics facility.
Amazing. What a sales pitch.
That was grand.
And no be there. My laugh out loud funniest
No
moment
be there
of the whole year was when
the best line
That was
delivery
hilarious.
by far.
He is an excellent choice because he is very entertaining. God. And as much as I adore Ralph Macchio, he's not what keeps me invested in the show.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, not at all.
Not at all. Not at all. Wonderful guys. Zabka is a genuine, just charmer on that show. Just absolute.
Yeah.
And he plays what people, he's the Archie Bunker. I mean, he's Archie Bunker of Cobra Kai.
Well, and that's what makes William Zabka so great as Johnny Lawrence, because I feel like if you were to just read the script of some of the things he says and does, he could instantly be the most hated character. And he starts off being a very hated character, especially from what we know of him from the movies. But he's managed to transform our opinion of this character and make him something that we root for, someone that we root for, and someone we believe in, someone that we like. Which I think for most people was very unpredictable. We did not see that coming.
So good. So good. And listen to our Cobra Kai spoiler cast from last week. All right, so now we move on to best specific moment on TV. This means a specific moment that occurred in a TV show or event, and this was your favorite moment on television for 2021.
Mine was this last cycle of Survivor. In the last cycle of Survivor, they took it to a whole new level, really changing up the game and making it super duper hard to actually win. But what they did was they brought in a very diverse cast. They brought in diverse from color. They brought diverse on from gender. They brought diverse on from LGBTQT plus. And the one defining moment of this season specifically was Jeff Probst always said at the challenges the phrase, "Come on in, guys." And at the very first challenge in Survivor 41, I think it was 41 this year as a cycle, 41 seems right. They basically asked the cast, and he said, "Hey, do you guys want to change? Do you guys want to change? Come on in, guys." And at first the cast said, "Yeah, I mean, it's Survivor. That's what we should do." At the next challenge, they were all like, "No, it just feels wrong." So Jeff was like, "I'm finally glad that you all agreed. We're going to change it to just come on in." So we finally have dropped the guys from Come On In, Guys. And I thought that was a big move to make that distinction and declaration on a pretty big show that still gets a lot of ratings on a pretty big network that everybody watches.
I didn't know anybody was still watching it, but that's very cool.
Except for Troy. I knew he was a viewer, but that's about it.
He's right.
I have my Survivor 35 buff right here that nobody can see except for these two. But,
my God.
Which has the logo of every previous Survivor season on it.
Okay, so you are the reason the show is still going somehow.
Do you have it on 5 monitors?
Sure.
When it's playing? Is that why? So you can get every angle?
I totally want to get on the show at some point. Jeff, if you're listening,
I'm sure he's listening.
I've done podcasts with this guy for 8 years. He's cutthroat. He'll do well. Go ahead. Get him on your show.
This is actually for my audition tape right now.
Are you actually auditioning?
I could submit this now as an audition tape, I suppose.
Yeah. Nothing says I could survive in the outdoors like I did a podcast. Good job.
With Aaron for 9 years.
Good luck
That
with
is
it.
actually a very good
That's
point.
quite fair.
He is a survivor.
That is. Now I'm going to sing that song and then we're going to get copyright issues.
I'm
So
a survivor.
my winner for best specific moment on television, Only Murders in the Building. It's not as it's hard to explain. So, because I don't want to give it away because I do want people to finally catch the show. And if you haven't, I'm not going to spoil how it happens. But I will tell you for 9 episodes, Steve Martin is wonderfully comedic. He's funny. He's everything else. But the one thing he doesn't do for 9 episodes is physical comedy, which he's known for. We can agree on this. Like Steve Martin is known
100%.
for physical comedy. So it's almost like they intentionally held him back for 9 episodes. And then in the finale, he ends up in a boiler room and an elevator, both doing some of the funniest shit I've seen anyone do. And I don't know if it's more because I was expecting him to do physical comedy and they basically just trained me away from it. So when it happens, it was just so wonderful, or if it just was that wonderful. But for me, I rewatched that episode multiple times strictly because like I thought they just weren't going to use physical comedy for Steve. Maybe he was too old for it. Maybe he just didn't want to do it anymore, whatever. And then it's like brilliance after brilliance. And I just thought it was genius. I just thought it was genius.
That's a good
That
pick.
whole episode, he's pushing around it was a stroller, wasn't it?
It was like a little cart, wasn't it?
It was a cart or something, yeah.
Cart.
And I'm just like, why is he pushing this cart around the whole episode? And then it's like, oh, this is awesome.
It was so good.
Yeah,
So
it was
good.
worth it. That build up was great. So my specific moment, I feel like I need to preface this is because it connected with me so deeply. It was something that I had been longing to see on screen. And it's, especially from a woman's perspective, it's always really cool when you get to see a female a character that you've really loved and that you haven't really been able to fully enjoy, and they get to do a really badass moment and they find themselves. And I really love those moments. So in WandaVision, and I feel like an asshole for continuously bringing this up,
I just
this
figured
show.
that
but
Kate or not.
No, it takes the spotlight off of me for saying Lost all the time. I appreciate
That's true.
it. Thank you.
That's true.
I almost said Mary Kate Olsen, but Ashley Olsen. No, Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth
One
Olsen.
of these Olsens. You're just on her payroll.
I know. I wish. So this is the last episode of WandaVision, and Agatha tells Wanda that her world will always be broken, and she says, just like you. And in that moment, somebody is inciting you. They're almost like urging you to compete with them, like, oh, you really think so? Okay. And so Wanda shows her hand with the runes in the sky, and she turns Agatha's magic on her, and she says, but I don't need you to tell me who I am. As her Scarlet Witch Wimple develops and she absorbs all of the power, consuming all of it, and her costume comes in full force. We finally get to see her Scarlet Witch costume. She's got everything on, and she is just, you cannot tear me down, lady. I'm a boss, bitch. I love that moment because I feel like every human can connect to that. It's not just women who can say, oh, I can connect to that moment where it's like, you want to tell me that I can't do something, that I'm not good enough, and you're going to tell me who I am? Well, let me show you just how smart and clever and cunning I can be. And that moment just hit me so hard, and I love it.
Great one. And also, spoiler alert. Just kidding. It came out.
It came out a year ago.
I'm kidding. Look, you're going to end up getting spoiled by something if you're listening to this. So it's just the way it is. You know, some things we'll try, very big ones we'll try to keep from you, but this came out in January. Come on. All right. Coherence Award. Now, this is named after the late Justin McCumber, former Hollywood Outsider host, who found a little known movie called Coherence and kind of shared it with the world and really, really got some footing behind that movie because I didn't know anyone that had seen it until he had started preaching about it. But that's why we call it that. It's your personal pick for a little scene or discussed TV series that just completely won you over, and you really hope people find it in the new year. Which pick?
So mine is a Netflix show, and it stars Margaret Qualley as Alex, who is a single mom. She is running away from an abusive relationship with her child's father, and she resorts to house cleaning as a way to make ends meet. She's really struggling. She has no money when she leaves. It really gives you insight into the failure of our public system in terms of support and how complex, overly and unnecessarily complex it can be, where it's like, you need to have a job before we can support you, but you can't get a job because you don't have the supports necessary to get the job. So it's like a catch-22 in all fronts. And she's trying to do the best thing possible for her kid. And so it really shows the plight of a single parent, especially a single mom. And it also shows the impact of domestic abuse and how difficult it can be for some people to recognize it, where they're like, I'm not a victim. I was not abused. And again, to the system, you have to admit to yourself and to the public, individuals who are helping you, that yes, I am a victim of domestic abuse, to be able to get help. And so getting all of that insight and seeing her character grow and develop and the journey she has with her daughter was just really, really moving. I could not take my eyes off of this show, and I would highly encourage anyone, especially if you raised a single kid or you were in an abusive relationship and you've healed enough, please beware, there are trigger warning for this. But it is a worthwhile show, and I'm really hoping more people catch on to it because it was great.
It's made
on Netflix.
Okay.
Like M-A-I-D.
M-A-I-D, not
yeah.
M-A-D-E.
Yeah.
Got it. My pick is also on Netflix. It's called Behind Her Eyes. It's about a single mother who enters a world of twisted mind games when she begins an affair with her psychiatrist boss while secretly befriending his mysterious wife. I will not tell you anything more about it. Once you're about 3 episodes in, things really start turning into something. Like, it seems a little Lifetime at first. And then once the plot really starts kicking in, you're like, oh, shit. And then when you finally get to the finale and you see the final episode, you're just like, what just happened? So I really hope more people find that, because it's a fun show. It's a 1 season and done kind of show. I think it's 8 episodes, and then you're out. Like, it has an ending, so you don't have to worry about more seasons. Behind Her Eyes.
That was a great one, and I thank you for recommending it, because I probably never would have even seen it. But it was awesome and very. You said, what?
Oh,
that
man.
was definitely a reaction you have.
That last episode, I'm like, oh no, no,
no.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And if you forget any of ththese, again, you can go to the website, thehollywoodoutsiders.com, and you'll see the full list out there.
You'll see the category.
Ooh, excellent plug.
I'm not going to put the winners in.
Mine-
They got to listen to the podcast to hear that.
That's right. Mine just came out recently at the end of 2021, and I'll go out on a limb because the finale of this limited series, only 10 episodes, airs probably the Thursday after you're hearing this, or Thursday right around the time you're hearing this, and that is Station 11 on HBO Max. It's a little bit of a challenge right now because, of course, the whole premise or the MacGuffin of the show revolves around the world basically being wiped out by a giant super flu. But the concept of the show is that you have the time before the flu, the time of the flu, and then the time 20 years after the flu. And it's a journey of looking at the characters that are involved in the story in those 3 time periods and how they've changed and relate to each other. And after episode 9, I am 100% sold that the finale is going to stick the landing, because I was just like, yes, I can't believe that just happened. It's so good. I'm a big character person. I love Lost because of the character moments. I love The Leftovers because of the character moments. This would be somewhere between Leftovers depression side versus Lost hope side. So somewhere in the middle is where Station 11 falls, and it's just brilliantly done. Every week you just are pins and needles trying to see what's going to happen next. So highly recommend on HBO Max.
And it is limited, so it's not ongoing?
Yep. One and done.
Okay. Now, I was going to wait until the whole thing's over, and then we'll see if it sticks landing, because it's one of those shows. But if it's a limited one, I will check it out for sooner.
I will let you know next week.
Rather than later. Yeah. You let me know. Okay, best TV flashback. We'll be a little quicker with this one. Okay, it's a TV show not of 2021. You newly discovered or made a renewed impact. HBO Max Warrior. I think I mentioned it before. I'm going to mention it again. That was one of the best shows I watched in 2021, even though it wasn't from 2021. And it's based off the life of Bruce Lee. And it's about Asian Americans coming to America in early 1900s or late 1800s. I can't remember the exact year, but there's a lot of martial arts. It's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of just kick-assery, the stunts. And this would easily take the stunt category if it was from this year, but unfortunately it's actually got 3 seasons and they're from previous years. There's two seasons and they're making the 3rd one. So I freaking love this show. I flew through it because I had so much fun watching it. And again, the not special effects, for the stunt work is amazing. Some of the best fighting I've seen, period. And the fighting, especially in the first season, is better than any of martial arts I've seen in anything this year, including Shang-Chi and a lot of other ones.
Wow. So my pick is Jessica Jones season 1. I'm actually doing a rewatch of the shows in chronological order, the way that you're supposed to watch them, because I never did and I didn't finish a lot of them. And as I was rewatching Jessica Jones, I was promptly reminded how brilliant the writing was, because it allowed us to deeply resonate with Jessica for the abuse and stalking she receives at the hands of Kilgrave, and how wonderful these characters, David Tennant as Kilgrave, really just was. Because, I mean, he enthralls you. You can see how he can be so charming and captivating, but it's also just like, yeah, but he's also a complete monster. So it was nice to rewatch that show and be reminded of how great it was.
I chose mine because HBO Max decided to do this thing called day and date releases. And I realized that it was only $10 onto my cell phone plan instead of the $15 that it was going to be if I bought it directly. So HBO Max won me over so that I could watch all 7 seasons of The West Wing for the very first time.
God, that's a lot of television.
That's how I spent the COVID dark winter, because I couldn't do anything else but sit in my house. So I watched all of it, and it was fabulous. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I am so disappointed that I didn't watch it when it first came out, because I really think I would have gotten into it. Unfortunately, I'm kind of also saddened that I watched it without having listened to the West Wing Weekly at the same time. But I was just so enthralled with next episode. I didn't want to slow down by having to listen to an hour of people talk about it. So,
and
that's how I felt about Orphan Black, watching that show and wishing that I had caught on to it while it was on, to fangirl and theory swap with people as it was going on live. It just would have been really, really cool.
Yeah, because we would have fun talking about it, Amanda, if you'd watched it live.
Oh, and it's so good.
It's so good.
Now back to West Wing.
So
Aren't you even more impressed with Dule Hill? He's a really talented actor.
Oh, Dule Hill was fab.
He was
the range
fab.
on Dule Hill is fantastic. The way that, just the episode at the end of season 2. West Wing's been out so long, I don't want to give it away, but I did not know what was going to happen at the end of season 2, and I was just like, holy crap, that's just super tragic and super emotional, and Dule Hill just nailed it, and I'm just like wow. And then you're like, and this is Gus. He's a completely different person. So kudos to Dule Hill for everything he was able to bring to that character.
So and kudos to you, because I think you got 6 likes into that one sentence. Most disappointing TV series, for whatever your reasons, whatever they are, disappointed you. What disappointed you most?
WandaVision was so awesome. And Falcon, that's how bad it was. I can't even say the name of the show.
The Falcon.
That's the second time you flubbed it.
I know, because it's so bad.
Winter shit.
Yeah, Falcon and the Winter shit, because it was horrible. The whole first 2 episodes.
Horrible, maybe
horrible.
Extreme.
Hey, it's
horrible.
his opinion.
Compared to coming off of WandaVision, it was
that's
horrible.
fair. That's fair.
It wasn't anywhere near the same technical caliber. It wasn't the same as the storytelling. It just was not good at all.
Damn. Just damn. Well,
yeah,
good. With
brutal.
all the Marvel love, it's good that we threw some shade too.
And honestly, because of Falcon and the Winter Soldier being so bad, I haven't seen Loki and I haven't seen Hawkeye yet.
What?
Because I just haven't gotten back to it, because I have
Loki.
other stuff to watch now.
You can skip Loki.
No,
I want to see
Loki
those
was
two.
good.
I know, and I want to see him. I was on the train. The train derailed, and now I'm taking giant sandworms instead to get out of the desert to get back to where I belong.
I understand that reference.
Yeah, no. Okay, so my pick is Clarice. I mean, to be fair, I don't think I had incredibly high expectations when I saw it, but I was at least looking forward to it. And I only had low expectations just because of it being on a television network. You know, I hate to say that, but if you're not coming from a streaming platform these days, I don't expect you to do something really amazing.
Yes, agreed.
And unfortunately, Clarice was beyond disappointing when I only came in with low expectations, which is saying something.
Okay. Mine is Saturday Night Live, which sounds weird because I know a lot of people are like, Saturday Night Live hasn't been good in years. But I've always kind of enjoyed, like, it's great background TV, especially, you know, you're doing stuff around the house, you catch it up on Hulu and stuff. I don't have to deal with commercials. I love Weekend Update. But man, I just like, they did 4 years of political crap. So I was really hoping, okay, well then maybe they'll finally get away from the political crap because obviously they were obsessed with the last guy. Maybe they can move on. They still do way too much political crap. I think there's a lot of very talented younger performers that get no screen time at all. So you're constantly stuck with the same kind of skits over and over. And then you'll get something that's genius and show like somebody's spark or a great performance from, was it Chloe Finneman? And then nothing. And it's just like, man, what a waste. Because this show could be so much funnier than it is. I still like News Update. That's usually a pretty fun bit.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it's just a very disappointing season. Like, it just... Stop. I don't care about your politics. Get it out of it. Do something else. It's like they can't think of anything else but politics.
I was going to say, it does feel like they've run that concept into the ground. Like, it was funny, you know, here and there, how they used to do it. It used to be like, oh, and they equally would make fun of all of them. I mean, I'm at least give them points for that. But it does feel like, okay, can we find something else to make fun of?
Yeah. All right. Well, it's time for television. Then we're going to get into movies. But your top 10... And you can mention all 10, but please only elaborate on your top 5 because, you know, we want to move on at some point today. Give me your top 10 television shows of 2021.
So number 10, I have Midnight Mass. Number 9, I have Maid. Number 8, Cruel Summer. Number 7, A Million Little Things. Number 6, Only Murders in the Building. Number 5, Shadow and Bone, which I fully did not expect to be as magnificent as it was, that to the point that I bought the books.
Really?
Like the entire book series.
Whoa.
Okay, you guys reacting makes it sound like you don't think I read at all.
Don't.
No, because most people buy the books and then watch the TV show. You actually bought the books by watching the TV show. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, and that's how I prefer to do it, is normally I would wait to watch something until I had read it because I just prefer to, well, No, that's a lie. I do it this way. That's completely wrong. I do it this way. I'm different than people.
Well, by all means, please work all that out on the podcast
I'm so
instead
sorry.
of moving forward.
It was fantastic. Can't wait for more. Number 4 is Lucifer. Thank God they gave us more of it. And the ending was phenomenal.
Was it?
Like,
I was wondering if it stuck the landing.
So when they had the original quote unquote ending, when they were supposed to close the series, I was like, I don't know about this. And then they came out and they're like, oh, just kidding. We're going to give you a little bit more. We're going to have part 1 and part 2 of our final season. And I was like, okay. And so in the course of that, it's like, oh, we're really fleshing some things out and getting to conclusions here. But they don't leave you, like, it doesn't feel like everything's perfectly wrapped in a bow. But you have enough conclusion where you're like, I'm good. I don't need more of the show. Like, I would happily take more, but I don't need more. Like, we're good here. So just wonderful. And the last season really made me cry a lot. Number 3, Hawkeye. I can't tell you how much I really enjoyed that show, but it had me just, I wanted more of it. I was ready every week to watch the next episode.
It's my favorite.
Marvel wasn't in it. Would you still watch it?
Totally. I totally would.
Okay.
She's not in the entire thing, so you'll enjoy it before she makes her appearance.
Oh, it's really, really good. And Kate Bishop is a great character, too.
Yes.
And Grumpy Cat does a wonderful job.
Yeah. Number 2, this may surprise you having it in number 2 instead of number 1, but it's WandaVision.
That surprises me. Sure. Because Hawkeye's a better Marvel show.
No. Number 1 is Ted Lasso.
That doesn't surprise me.
That show gave me so much hope in so many ways, and it brought to the surface the topic of mental health in a way that I hadn't seen in a television, as lighthearted but also serious as it was. And I just can't get over how perfect the entire cast is. Everyone feels like they belong in that place that they're in.
I love that. It's a fantastic show. And boy, when Brett Goldstein started leading that cast, it was just amazing.
It got so much better in the second season.
Yeah, Roy Kento, as we refer to it now.
And there was some,
Apparently.
do you remember that there was I don't remember who it was, but there was a critic or something who basically was just shitting all over the season when it was only like 5 episodes in or something like that. And the showrunner's like, hey, give us time. We're not even halfway done with the season yet. I thought it was a great run through and through. Like, it wasn't as good as the first season. I think it'd be very hard to catch that first season, but it's still, I thought it was a very good show and very character driven, which most comedies aren't. Usually, especially a half-hour comedy, is usually the event, something happens, they have conflict, they move past it. Like, it's a very character driven show.
Was his name Trent, just out of curiosity?
I see what you did there. Okay, so my top 10. Number 10, still the only show that uses both opposing political views on one TV show. Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO Max. Number 9, Midnight Mass on Netflix. Number 8, Dope Sick on Hulu.
Ooh.
Make you sad. Hawkeye on Disney Plus. Number 6, Ted Lasso, Apple TV. Number 5, yes, beating Ted Lasso for me anyway, Home Before Dark on Apple TV, which follows a young, intrepid reporter who is like 10. And she's trying to solve small town crimes. I find the whole show fascinating to watch. I think she is such a talented actress, and I really, really, really hope it gets to season 3. I don't know if that's happening as of yet, but man, I just love Home Before Dark. And I normally don't like watching kids, because kids act is, if you've seen The Blacklist, you know what I'm talking about. It's excruciating sometimes.
Oh,
yeah.
Savage.
Number 4, Dexter New Blood on Showtime. And now it's too new to spoil the ending, but I will say, much like the original Dexter ending, people are split. Although I've seen a lot more positive on this one than I ever saw on the last one.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it, didn't love it, but as a whole, I thought the show was fantastic. I'm so glad it came back. I'm so glad Michael C. Hall didn't miss a beat. That guy was born to play that character. I think he should be every serial killer from here on out.
Also, I'm punching myself in the face right now because I didn't put it on my list.
You didn't have it on your list, but honestly, I saw your list early and I kind of thought, well, I know she didn't love the ending. So I figured that just knocked it out of the top 10. But
I didn't love the ending. You're right. It was still a better ending than the original one we got. I just feel like it was a little bit rushed, and we don't have, I don't know, there were things introduced that didn't really have follow through. So it was like, what was the point of that?
Well, I thought they were followed through just fine. I had a great time, and it made number 4 on my list. And in fact, I might even go back and rewatch the whole thing now that I've seen it all play out, so I can see it again. Number 3, No Be There. Taught me a life lesson. Cobra Kai.
Aww.
Netflix. Love it. Number 2, Mare of Easttown, HBO Max. I'm not kidding when I say Kate Winslet is a fantastic actress. And the mystery ends up being... Troy, this is why I think you will really enjoy this one. I know, I will always promote murder mysteries to you, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. This is very character-driven. It's not so much about the murder. I mean, it is, but it's also about the characters that are investigating the murder and that are related to the investigation. So it's very character-driven. And my number 1 TV show of the year, Only Murders in the Building on Hulu. I had Star Wars level hype for that show, and it matched it and then exceeded it. It just was, from start to finish, pure joy for me. It had comedy, mystery, drama, made fun of podcasts, paid attention and loved to podcasts. I mean, it just, everything that I wanted. And it made me really, really appreciate Selena Gomez in a way that I don't think I ever have. it made me actually look up some of her music. I listened to her whole Spanish album, which she just had, which was
What?
fantastic.
Look at you go.
It was fantastic. She's super talented.
She is very talented.
And also Martin Short and Steve Martin. How do you go wrong with those guys? So
Bad Liar is a fantastic song that she did.
She's great. She's extremely talented and seems really when you really look into all the things that she's doing, phenomenal.
And I have to say the theme music for Only Murders in the Building, I watch the credits every single week because that piano theme music was so catchy and clever. Like, just absolutely loved it.
And I love throughout the series, you'll get random musical cues that allude to Serial, which I think is just clever because they're basically, they want to be like Serial, they do. And I thought that's a nice touch.
And the joke with Tina Fey being actually her.
Yeah, exactly. And I should also mention episode 7, I think, the deaf episode. One of
so good.
The most interesting episodes of television in the whole year. I just thought, wow, good for them for doing it that way. And I'm not going to say how or what happens, but it's just so well done, just well executed.
Agree. Number 10, only because it's an obligatory and I get paid every time I say it, and no, it's not lost. But it was The Blacklist, specifically because the show ended. Yes, that's right. It ended with season 8.
Oh, that's a controversial take.
No, it did. And then they just kept going.
It did. But I'm just saying, take that to your Blacklist Exposed podcast and see what your listeners say about that.
They all agree. The show ended in 8. And it was a fabulous ending. And I'll just leave it there. Number 9 is Mythic Quest, specifically because this show on Apple TV Plus is part Community, part The Office, and part The Guild. And if you're a gamer, you'll absolutely love it. It's freaking hysterical. I laugh every single time. Number 8, A Million Little Things, the real show that doesn't make you cry every week like the other one that it's copied off of. 7 was Squid Game. I wasn't going to put this on the list until episode 6 of Squid Game, and I'm like, oh, dude, like that is just
I never finished it.
Freaking brutal. Probably because you can't get past episode 6 because you're just like,
I didn't get past episode 1.
Red light.
I have then at number 6, WandaVision. 5, I picked Star Trek Discovery because it had both season 3 and season 4 crossing over in 2021. And I really feel that people didn't give the likes to season 3 that they should have, nor the likes to season 4 so far as they should have. Because I think the one thing people don't understand is what Gene Roddenberry wanted for Star Trek, and the things that and the topics that they've touched on with both the things that happen in season 3 when they go to the very, 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 very far future, and how to like find the way to the Federation ideals and principles again, I think was super, super interesting. And then how they're expanding that into season 4 has been fantastic so far. So Star Trek Discovery is on Paramount Plus. 4, Ted Lasso, already mentioned. I had it at 4 below the other ones just because I thought season 2, much like the TV writer, got off to a slow start, even though it did pick itself up towards the end. It just didn't grab me like the first season did initially out of the gate. Number 3, Station 11. I can't say enough good things about Station 11. It's just been, I literally will wait up and grab it as soon as it drops, and they've been dropping 2 episodes at a time. And I'll watch both episodes as soon as it hits. It's that good. Wow. Cobra Kai, again, double dose in 2021. So that goes without saying. And then number 1, same thing. I waited until the episode dropped before I went to bed. Only Murders in the Building for number 1.
It's on all 3 of our lists. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, people.
Yep.
So watch it if you haven't seen it already.
So is Ted Lasso.
True. Watch them both.
I think that's the only 2 that are on all of our lists.
True.
That's because you hate karate, apparently.
No, I love it. I just, honestly, I didn't think it counted because technically I
watched it all in 2021. It counts. I watched the whole damn thing.
Aaron, no, you didn't because, you watched the new season maybe, but the last season that came out, it was a surprise release. It came out
it was supposed
on
to
New
come
Year's
out
Day.
It was supposed to come out January 8th, and they pushed it back a week.
So technically, because I had screeners, I had seen it before. I saw it in 2020. And then the new season that just came out, I didn't see until 2022. Gotcha. So I didn't count it in my list because I didn't technically watch it in 2021.
I gotcha. Well, it was
Fair.
great. It was great. Now we got to work. We got to move on to
It's
movies.
the one time she follows the rules.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I
even give
know.
an honorable mention the entire time.
I didn't. I was being good.
Because she knows I'll edit it out. So there's really no point.
That's
So
rude. No,
we
you
got-
won't. You're lazy.
We'll
You
get
don't want to
into-
edit more.
My God, can we go to movies? Well, first, our show is independently funded. Therefore, all the expenses are from our own pockets, and Patreon helps fans support their favorite podcast. And once you sign up, you get immediate access to all the content in your respective tier. And as this is our first episode of the year, let me take a minute to personally thank those that are supporting the show. Welcome and thank you to our new patrons, Jay, Jack, and Ty. Welcome to the Ho, guys.
Hey.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. And I also want to say thank you to our showrunners, those that support us at the highest tier, Jack, Stanley, Christina, Mandy, and Cauldron's Crypt.
I'm winking at all of
DM
you.
Podcast. Our screenwriters who support us at the $10 tier, Jay, Tammy Ray, Courtney, Ty, and Paula. Our shooting stars, Dave,
We love
Christian.
you. You're going too fast. I want to tell them that I love and care about them.
Okay, that's great. Our shooting stars, Dave, Christian, Andrew, Virginia, Jose, Jacina, Laura, Grillbox, Tam, Nate, Wayne, Stefan, or Stefan, depending on who you are, Johan, and Manuel. Our leads, Alex. I swear to God. Our leads, Alexander, Josh, Tommy, Jennifer, Chris, Tomas, Jenny, and finally the rest of our Patreon hoes, Kimberly, Stefan, Brian, and Zachary. There's a few others that wish to not be named, but those are the ones I wanted to mention. So thank you, everybody. If you want to support the show, you go to patreon.com/The Hollywood Outsider. That's patreon.com/The Hollywood Outsider.
I love all of you.
Now's a great time to express that love. Now we're moving on to movies. Best use of a worn out movie cliche or plot.
Oh, man. It's coming. It's giant. It's huge. It's a rock. It's a meteor. It's going to
That's
come
what
destroy
she
the
said.
earth. And it was used in Don't Look Up this year to the most brilliant possible way ever. And Armageddon can suck it. Deep Impact can suck it. All the other meteor comet shows, Night of the Comet can suck it. Like, Don't Look Up is just fabulous. And they use this death-defying thing to the best of its ability to be the best documentary about what 2021 was all about.
I concur with that one.
Mine was Nobody, which I think is still underestimated or not spoken enough about. It's where burglary goes kind of wrong, basically. I mean, this is like what feels like an ordinary man. And he's like, nah, I'm not going to let you just come in here and destroy my life. So let's have a conversation about that with my fists. And I just love Bob Odenkirk. I mean, in general, was just fantastic in his performance. The stunts and the scenes were great. And just overall, it felt like we finally have somebody who is not trained with a specific set of skills.
That bus scene is great. He's just so
Indeed.
old. He's just like, I just got to kick somebody's ass today. My answer is the same as Joyce. It was Don't Look Up. A meteor destroying the earth. That cliched plot, I never want to see it again. And somehow they made it interesting, relevant, and sad because it felt so accurate. So sad. All right.
Oh, it's sad. I think it's hysterical because it's so accurate.
That's
It's
true.
still
Laugh
pretty
my ass
sad.
off the whole time.
It's still pretty sad. And stay after the credits if you haven't seen it. It's on Netflix.
All the way to the end.
Wait to the end.
I don't understand why he would charge us for free snacks.
That's amazing. It's amazing that's a joke that keeps coming back. I just all right, best physical effects or stunts.
For both of those, I'm going to say Shang-Chi.
That's good.
Just kind of blew me away. Didn't expect it. Damn you, Disney.
Damn you, Disney. Apparently, Amanda only watched Marvel stuff last year, just so you know. Like,
I mean, let's be fair.
Just
They put out
kidding.
like 80% of the stuff that's out there.
they did put out a lot. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think how there were physical effects in that movie. There was just a lot of
The fighting,
CGI.
all the fighting. Literally all of the kung fu
The fighting was like Airbender, like shove the
Oh,
rings at
was it?
you,
They-
push the air at you.
Did you see the fight on the
Did
bus,
you watch
man?
the
I mean, did
movie?
you actually watch the movie?
The fight on the bus is like
All of
really
the
gonna happen?
fighting was hand-to-hand martial artistry for most of it up until the very end. So you're drunk. What's your pick, Troy? Do you have one?
Mine is like real fighting in the 1300s where they used swords and armor and shields and kicked each other's ass with giant spears on horseback, and that's The Last Duel.
Okay, there's some good stunts in there, but I would argue that there's better ones than Shang-Chi, but there's some, damn right, there's some
The ending death scene.
Stunts.
I can't wait to tell you guys my
That's
thoughts
awesome.
on this movie because I just recently watched it.
Oh, good. We're coming there. Don't you worry about
Mm-hmm.
it. My pick for physical effects or stunts, Red Notice.
Oh, that's a great choice. You know, I was on Netflix today and I saw that and I was like, where does this fit on my list? I feel like it should fit somewhere on my list because when it came out, we were all just like, what did we just watch? How did we get something so wonderful? And I'm so happy you brought that up.
And I saw it at the theater because I got lucky. My local theater actually had Red Notice. And I'm like, I want to see this on a big screen. I don't want to see it on Netflix. I'm sure you got a great sound system, but I want to see it in a big screen. And I went home and rewatched it that weekend. I just freaking think it's a great movie. You know, it's just shy of my list, so to speak, but I had a great time. And the stunts are just phenomenal. I just think it's fun. It's a fun movie. You don't need your brain, but it's fun. And the action is just great. So the stunts work wonderful for me.
Another, pro for day and date release.
Yeah.
You can watch it a second time when you get home.
I'm saying yeah because I'm just mocking you and saying no, and we're moving on.
Because you did the same thing for Wonder Woman, if I remember correctly.
I did. Yep.
Didn't you do that for Red Notice too? You watched it and then you went home and watched it again? Maybe not that night, but that
I
weekend.
literally just said.
My bad.
Just said it. Now who's not paying attention, Amanda?
Me, 100% me.
100%, 150.
100%.
You said that to me most of the time, and here I'm the one that was actually paying attention for a change.
I mean, that wasn't even kinda. I literally just said that exact same.
I thought you were talking about something else.
Oh my God. Best use of It's okay. Communication isn't important on a podcast. Just talk. That's all we do anymore. You just talk. That's all anybody wants to do. They all want to hear their own opinion anyway, right? Don't care what my opinion is, just your opinion. That's what world we're living in.
Your hit stuff, things are getting out of control.
Best use of CGI in any film.
Free Guy. Like literally immersed in the world happening around you as stuff is blowing up. It just felt like it was the way it was supposed to look. And especially the ending when they're making the run for the border of the environment. I thought that was really, really well done.
Co-signed. Most creative, imaginative world of any movie, I think, this year was Free Guy. And surprised the hell out of me. Absolutely loved the world. So yeah, CGI, I mean, it's phenomenal.
So one of my favorite films, when we did our favorite films of the last decade, was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And the same animators who made that film made this one, which is my choice, The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Oh, good deal.
And I just thought it looked so awesome. I mean, from the machines to the characters themselves, all of the little details that were added. I wish John were here to speak about the artistry aspect of it because I'm terrible at that. But it was just so, I thought, visually perfect.
That's a great movie. Great pick. And absolutely a great movie. Honestly, I think better than any Pixar movie that's come out in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, best villain or badass. Well, I'm going back to, Amanda, you referenced Power of the Dog earlier. And I'm throwing it to Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh.
Because in that movie, he is awful. He is awful. But I am also of the mindset that you can't have a great villain / badass, whatever. You can't have a great villain unless you can at least understand their motivations, like, because they have to believe they're in the right. You have to understand where they're coming from. And really, it's a character that you don't completely understand until the very last minutes of the movie. And once you do, I'm not saying it definitely doesn't justify anything he's done, but at least you finally understand what kind of hell he himself has had to live with his entire life. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't justify anything, but it is such a powerful, powerful performance that even though I don't think the movie is great, I think he is fantastic.
That movie was a little wild.
I did not see it. It'll be on the list. The ever-growing, ever-expanding, never-to-be-finished list. For the same similar reasons as Aaron, also because we've also said that in order to be a really good villain is that you have to actually believe what you're doing is the right thing. I chose Jacques Legris, Adam Driver in The Last Duel.
Wow, that's a...
He is a villain above any villain you could ever imagine. And especially because of the way they tell this story in The Last Duel, and you see his point of view, like he truly believes. And from his point of view, it looks and is presented exactly the way he experienced it. So you can understand why he thought he wasn't in the wrong, and he's willing to die for his point of view. So from that perspective, yeah, 100% best villain this year.
That's, that it's a hard, I give you credit because I know it's a hard one to probably say, especially for people who have seen the movie, because you're, I don't want people to react to me, but you're right. The character's point of view is skewed and just screwed by his own mental state and the way that he sees the world, which is awful, but it's also what makes him a great villain. Good call.
Mine is, and I'm going to stop, and I'm going to say this is going to have a spoiler for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Listen.
So if you have not seen Spider-Man No Way Home, I am urging you right now to go forward 30 seconds, and I promise I will be done by then. This is your last warning. My pick is Green Goblin from Spider-Man No Way Home. I just thought bringing that character back and showing us his face, Willem Dafoe, was just incredible and a powerhouse. And I fully did not expect, we have so many villains on screen, and yet he's the one who's domineering the entire screen. So loved it. I'm done. No more spoilers.
And honestly, I don't even know if that's so much of a spoiler, just because they kind of had that particular character in all the commercials. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I say that because I know there are a lot of people who don't even watch trailers anymore. Like, I hadn't seen the trailer for the movie until I didn't know anything. So I went in with a clean slate.
If you've avoided Spider-Man spoilers to this point, I commend you.
Yeah.
You have done a wonderful job. Good for you. Hurry up and see it, because we're coming up on the end of the show and you never know, you might hear something else. Next up is Best Supporting Actor. Best Supporting Actor. Go.
So this takes me back to my love for Black Widow, which was very unexpected. But Florence Pugh, she again takes the cake for me because she elevated the film above Scarlett Johansson, above David Harbour. Just the entire cast was stacked. And yet here she is making me not want to turn or blink my eyes at all because I don't want to miss a second of her in this role. She was just fantastic. So she definitely gets it from me.
Good one. Mine is McKenna Grace from Ghostbusters Afterlife. Phoebe.
That's a great pick.
Even though Carrie Coon and Paul Rudd and Finn Wolfhard, they've got the top billing and everything. McKenna Grace carries that movie. She is the best thing about that movie. She's one of the best performances of all this year, I think. And honestly, I really feel like if you go back and rewatch that movie, and if you cast a different actor in that role, that movie doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It really hinders on her performance, and she delivers.
And I would have to say that Ariana DeBose over from West Side Story, who played Anita, was just fantastic in that role. The scene between Anita and Maria, after what happens, I think that was just a really well done duet between the two of them. She really carried the role, and I think earned her spot as a West Side Story person for a long time.
I think it's DeBose, but I totally agree with you. She's wonderful. And also, if you haven't seen Schmigadoon, which is, it's kind of a fun show on Apple TV. She has it's great. Well, I liked it a lot, but I know a lot of people didn't care for it. And I don't know why, but I've had so many musicals this year that I've liked. It's weird. But she has I think it's episode 4, I want to say, but she's a school teacher in the show, and she has the best performance of the entire show, in my opinion. She's multi-talented. Talented. Okay. Best actor. Best actor. Lead actor. Who you got?
Well, this person was in 2 movies this year, and specifically, we're talking about Jodie Comer, Free Guy, Last Duel, the fact that she exists. I picked you, Jodie. Call me.
that she exists. Call me. What would you do if she did? Like, she's listening to this. I don't know why she would, but she's listening to this going, thank God I'm getting that I'm a Ho t-shirt. And then she's like, well, call. All right. And then gives you a call. What do you say to your wife?
I mean, I would not approach her in any way, creepily or not, because of The Last Duel. I would love the fact that she was like the girlfriend that you always wanted because of Free Guy. And then I would just wait for her to kill me because, Villanelle.
She's a person, right? Like those are roles.
She's not all of those characters.
She's not all those characters.
She is all those characters. That's what makes her great. The range is amazing.
She does have incredible range. That's actually why she's my pick too. Sorry to step in, Aaron, but she was also in 3 movies. So I'm going to need you to just step down a little bit and maybe you should love and admire her a little bit more.
What was the third movie?
It was a TV movie called Help.
I didn't see that. Good. Yeah.
It's moved up to the top of the list, Jody, ahead of anything that Aaron recommended.
She is tremendous, though. I think, all of us have a very high affinity for her as an actress and apparently as a person, since we all kind of swoon for her. But she's just so talented and has so much range. And in The Last Duel, which I just recently watched, oh my God, my heart crushed.
She was my pick too. So Jodie Comer is a clean sweep. Clean sweep.
Hell yeah.
Why is she not in more of the Oscar conversation? Why?
Amen.
Why? She was
because the millennials. It's all the millennials' fault.
Something.
Those
man.
damn iPhones.
Apparently, it's only if like a certain section of critics declare your film whatever they declare it. I'm like, this is a fantastic performance she gives in Last Duel alone, let alone the versatility she shows by Free Guy. And by anything else she does. And Villanelle, I mean, just everything she does is a little bit different from anything else she does. I don't know what more proof you need. She should be in the conversation. And also, The Last Duel is one of the most powerful performances I saw of anyone in 2021. She deserves to be in that conversation.
100%.
Sons of bitches. Okay, now, best specific moment in film.
Okay. I feel like I can't stop this. Mine is from Spider-Man No Way Home. It is going to be spoilers from this point on. I don't know. I guess just stop listening or come back in 5 minutes because I feel like we're going to talk about this. The sequence when we get our introduction to the Spideys, the portals opening, and we get to see them come out and they reunite. It's hard to choose anything. Like, there's just so many wonderful moments with the 3 of them pointing, them saying they love each other, them swinging together. But I really just loved when we first got to see them because, I don't know, it just, for me, it was still unexpected and I cried and I cheered and I just loved it so much. And I thought it was a really, I don't know, brilliant way to pay homage to long-term Spider-Man fans like Aaron, who have been waiting for this moment for decades.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Yeah. You want to get that cobweb?
Oh my God, it was so cute. Love her.
Oh, I love it. And I love, oh God, and the one portal where he raises his hand like he always did in the other movies. It's like, oh my God. Oh, so okay,
oh my God.
Troy.
And then when he catches her, like,
hang on.
Oh God.
Don't ruin my stuff.
Sorry. Oh,
specific moment in film, Troy.
I couldn't pick that one just because I knew that it was going to happen. So it was like, you're like waiting for it to happen the whole time. The other one is that I couldn't pick just because of the rest of the movie was the whole Ghostbusters all lining up and, the last Ghostbuster being there. I thought that was pretty good too. But for
feels
me,
like a lot of honorable mentions happening here.
Yeah, I'm going to miss those when they come out.
This is how you get around it. You just don't say that I have an honorable mention and then you can just honorable mention them as many times as you want.
No.
But for me, I've cried every single time this scene came on, every time. And it's Andrew Garfield by himself in Central Park at the piano.
Oh, yeah.
Singing Why in Tick, Tick, Boom. That just the whole sequence, Lin-Manuel Miranda and what he did with that sequence is just phenomenal. And I just, it connects in a way that nothing else can connect this year.
It's a beautiful moment in that movie. Absolutely beautiful moment. Well, my best specific moment in film is, and I should clarify, skip ahead 30 seconds or whatever. But I'm going to try to, I'm just going to tell you 3 words and I think you'll get it. Are you okay? Are you okay? That was a moment that I bawled like someone in my family had died. Like, it was intense. I intensely cried in Spider-Man No Way Home when Are You Okay happened. And I even came home and watched audience reaction after audience reaction after audience reaction video just to relive it and to feel a little better about the fact that it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me. And when I saw it at the Saturday matinee and I'm crying again at the same moment because it hits me in the gut. Because I still, even though I think those movies are not greatly written or well written, I can't use words. I think Andrew Garfield was fantastic as Spider-Man. And that was it was just a crushing death in Amazing Spider-Man 2. So just those words, just reflecting upon that or referencing that moment in a previous movie or whatever, it really got me. And the Saturday matinee, I'm looking over to my right, and there was a little girl who I don't even know how she could possibly have seen the movies, but I'm guessing her parents are good. They're good at what they do. And they think it's important that their kids have seen the Spider-Man films, because she was crying at the same thing and just looked at me, and she was just smiling and crying and just points at me that I'm crying. Like, it was a fun, cute little moment.
Aww.
Yeah, it was so sweet. So
I'm
sweet.
Getting a little teary-eyed right now.
And if you haven't seen it yet, you better go see it soon. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you can keep skipping. Nothing else should be ruined, I promise, from here on out, but we tried to dance around it. We told you when to skip ahead, so that's on you. The Coherence Award for film. Little pick that you think nobody has really seen.
This one in particular, I'm not picking just because I wrote the review and I got to see the screener, but I've actually watched it a second time, and it's No Man of God.
Oh, really?
The Ted Bundy experience. I think more people need to see this to understand really that the things we do in our lives, it's really just one click away from being really, really great or really, really evil. And having that self-examination and the ability to understand who you are, I think is really powerful stuff. So if you get a chance to see No Man of God, it's probably the best 2 people sitting in a room conversation you'll watch in a long time.
That's a good choice. That's a really good choice. Mine is Writers of Justice, which, Andreas, if you're listening, you finally convinced me to watch it this year. And man, what a great film. It's Mads Mikkelsen is in it. And he is essentially, he's a military man whose wife is taken from him too soon. And he's trying to understand the whys of it all, and his daughter's grieving and everything else. And then a statistician, if I said that right, comes to him with basically a theory that this was not an accident what happened to his wife, and she was actually the victim of a crime. And so they go off seeking vengeance together in a way. And it's kind of a really super dark comedy. It's very interesting, and it really looks at grief and the pathos that is implored in revenge. And it's just a really interesting film that I think more people should see. And I'm glad that I was finally basically just beat into submission to finally watch it, because it was worth it. It's on Hulu if you have it currently.
My pick is one that was seen at the South by Southwest Film Festival, and it's called The Fallout. It is
a great movie.
Yes, indeed. It is a remarkable film. And the story is exploring the ramifications of a school shooting tragedy on these adolescents, particularly this girl, Veda, and how the human condition is, the response is not necessarily one size fits all. And it was just very powerful and impactful. And I would highly encourage, to give you a little bit of information to, if it's something that you may be triggered by, it is very brief in terms of the shooting itself, and it's not visually showcased, but it still has a very impactful introduction. So it continues on about the journey of these individuals who were impacted by it and survived.
Good deal. All right. Best movie flashback. This is the movie that wasn't of 2021 that you finally discovered or made a renewed impact. And my choice is another Mads Mikkelsen movie. What? It is Another Round, which is also, I believe, on Hulu. It follows a bunch of older guys, I would say even older than middle-aged, that are kind of stuck in their life. None of them are very happy with where they are. They're struggling. And so they basically take it upon themselves to try an experiment and basically drink a little bit every single day, get a little tipsy every single day to see if it creates joy. Because they've read some study that if they drink a little bit every day, that they will, if they're a little inebriated, life will get better. And for them, it does for a little bit. And, things happen, it gets dark, and it gets bright, it gets light, it gets darker, it goes up and down. But by the end of the movie, it culminates in a scene where I would honestly say it's probably one of my favorite scenes of the entire year, even though it came out last year, but I saw it this year. And it's a beautiful expression of life, of celebrating life, of finding joy, no matter where your lot in life is, and just embracing what you have instead of spending your life wanting or pouring it away in alcohol or drugs, whatever you happen to be suffering with addiction wise. It's a really, really strong ending. It's a good film, wonderful ending. The ending really impacted me in a lot of ways. And the song that's at the end is just the song that I listen to all the time. So Another Round, it's worth a shot.
My film is one that I had not seen before. And so I knew I needed to. I knew it was missing from my repertoire. And that is What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh, wow. That's a great movie.
It was. And I knew that I was missing something. So I came into it knowing that it was going to be magnificent, but I didn't understand just how wonderful it would be. And Leo was just, dear God, incredible.
He was so beautiful in that performance. Just beautiful. And Mom was... Yeah. That's a very tricky role to pull off. And I think she did a wonderful job. Really makes you empathize.
Go ahead.
No, it just really makes you empathize with the character because, I think too often people just look at obesity and point and laugh or mock instead of taking 5 minutes to try to understand that everybody has something that they're struggling with. Maybe learn that you're not perfect either and try to empathize. And I think that movie really does a good job with that.
Well, I think we should just throw all this sappy shit to the side and drive really fast down the streets of Brazil and have an entire safe robbery driving down between two cars. Fast Five is the best of the entire franchise, and they need to make more movies like Fast Five because Fast Five was fantastic, no matter how many times you watch it, because it actually has a story. It has car chases that are believable. It doesn't do any stupid, weird stuff like flying between two giant mountains with a swinging hook or go to outer space. It's just a really good overall fun popcorn flick movie. Fast Five, hands down. Make more of those, please.
Amen, man. Amen.
That one is probably the best one from the franchise.
Not probably. It is the best
Besides
one.
Besides the first.
No, it's better than the first.
No, like overall.
Yeah, overall. It is the best movie in that franchise. It also throws to mind my Paul Walker and Betty White joke. That's really...
Oh my God.
Not good.
Okay, so
Not good.
You have to say it though, because it's so wrong. So wrong, but it is real funny.
Troy, should I say it? Will it get me canceled or anything?
I don't remember it. So
it's on the internet.
Oh, well, if it's on the internet, I don't even have to say it. Just go on the internet, find it. Betty White, Paul Walker. No. What's the difference between Paul Walker and Betty White?
Do you want me to answer it? Because I know the answer. Or do you want me to say what?
What is the difference between Paul Walker and Betty White?
Paul Walker hit 100 before he died.
So
I didn't write it. It's a meme. I didn't write it. I'm repeating it. It's horrible. And I am ashamed that it's on the internet. I'm only telling you so you can go and find copies of it and remove it. That's what I'm doing. My gosh, people are horrible. Shameful. Shameful.
Rest in peace.
Two legends. 2 legends, people. Don't make jokes about legends. Just
Our
don't do
queen. Our queen.
it. And Paul Walker's a prince.
Oh.
Because apparently in that franchise, Vin Diesel's king. Just ask him. He'll tell you all about it. All right. Most disappointing movie for whatever your reasons.
Okay, guys, I'm so glad we're around the table for this conversation. I'll make it very brief.
Let's go.
The Green Knight. It sucked.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. Don't waste your time. And the fact that I keep seeing it on top 10 lists for 2021 from these pompous critics just irritates me. Now, full disclosure, I knew the Green Knight's story going into it, and so I was very excited to see how it was going to be crafted into a movie. No, it sucked. It was visually beautiful. Like, don't get me wrong. Visually, it was remarkable. The story, though, was just absurd.
Tell me you think you're better at cinema than I am without telling me you think you're better at cinema. I think The Green Knight's a top 10 movie. That's right. That's how you do it right there.
Look, across the great 48 states of the contiguous union, there are a lot of those states where the ganj is legal now. So just smoke it up if you got it. Take some gummies, some edibles, whatever you want, and enjoy The Green Knight, because the old is so much worse. It is a horrible movie.
Why did you say old so many times?
That's the name of the movie.
Because it literally, you age as you watch it, just like the characters do on that freaking beach. Is so bad. Like, I don't even know why M. Night even put it out.
It was
because
pretty
all he just gets in his own way. You don't need the stupid twist at the end. If you would have told me the twist at the front of the movie, that movie is so much better, because I would have been much more interested to see how the experiment plays out.
Apparently, the experiment was really seeing if they could keep you in your seat for an hour and 45 minutes.
I honestly feel like that was the truth. I honestly feel that is exactly what the whole thing was about.
Aaron, I'm really curious what yours is going to be, because I know
Green Knight, because the movie sucked. Good. It's dog shit. Yeah, it's in the best movie of the year. But who are you? Is it Ray Charles taking this toll? I don't understand exactly how you're top 10 my ass.
You should stick with your Betty White references.
Oh my God, what an awful freaking movie. Oh, Dev Patel, sure, he's a fine actor, wonderful actor. I have no problem with anything. Just didn't like Dev Patel, or you didn't like this. No, I didn't like the movie. The movie sucked. It reminded me of brain surgery in that I never want it. I just don't want it. It's awful. I left early. I never, ever. I'm a critic, man. I can't leave early.
You did finish it. You should say that, though.
I did eventually.
Yeah.
But I didn't at the time. I left 20 minutes early, and I felt good about it. I didn't feel regretful. Usually, if I feel bad when I have to pee. If I have to pee in a movie, I'm like, well, I can't leave the theater because I have to write a review about this, and I take that shit seriously. Unlike critics that put this on a top 10 list and are trying to make me take them seriously, that ain't gonna happen. I didn't care. I didn't care because the movie was so bad. It just doesn't have a story. It's fucking stupid.
It's flaming garbage.
Dumb. It's just every internet word that's said when people want to be negative, it's that. Wrapped up in a pretty bow. It's a visually stunning film, sure. If you don't care about enjoying your time, if you don't think your time matters, and all that matters is the pretty pictures in front of you, then sure, great, top 10. But if you care about story, pacing, anything that makes sense,
introducing things that actually have some connectivity to what the story is about, what the movie is for, and uses that in the future.
Doing anything. I can't remember last time I was angry walking out of a movie. I was angry at that movie. I'm just like, you just wasted X, I don't even know how many minutes it was, but I knew I was almost at the end, and I still said, nah, I'm done. I'm good. I just don't need to see it. I'm out. And I'm glad. I did.
I feel like I have to see it now just so I can see if it's worse than old.
It's a long movie.
It's not even that long. It just feels like you're walking. It feels like you're literally in the desert walking to Tatooine. It's like you're just trying to trudge through the desert sand.
Oh, it's only 2 hours and 5 minutes. Yeah. It definitely felt like it was 3 hours for sure.
I am convinced it was Lord of the Rings, the extended edition. It felt forever. Forever. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Woosa. I can't wait to get the emails. Feedback at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. All the people want to tell me how wrong I am and what a beautiful, amazing film. And I shouldn't be reviewing film if you can't understand the artistic merits of The Green Knight.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I can't wait till someone's like, you just didn't understand it. No, man, I understood it. I think the writers didn't understand the challenge that they had, and they certainly didn't do a good job with it.
I like that. But why is that always the answer? Whenever you say you don't like something, somebody's always going, well, I just think you probably just didn't understand. Maybe if you understood what they were going,
understand the depth of the story.
Jackass. We can understand it and still don't like it. It can be shit. Sometimes you can understand shit. I've seen shit on the sidewalk. I understand it. It's poo. I get it. It's very clear.
This looks like it came from a goose.
In fact, it makes me wonder, do you understand it? Because I understand it's shit. Why don't you? There we go. Let's look at it that way.
When shit like turns like hard and stuff, does it like break down and turn into sand? Because I feel like I should.
Where's this going to go, Troy?
It breaks into the Dark Knight. Or the Green Knight. Sorry, not the Dark Knight. Dark Knight, brilliant.
Dark Knight is
Green
great.
Knight, awful.
Oh, I thought it broke into sand because I don't understand that at all. And I know I'm not supposed to understand it because there's a second part coming or whatever. But man.
Is this referencing Dune?
That felt like 5 hours watching that thing.
I didn't even see you going there, but now I'm happy that you made the trip. All right, top 10. Mention all your top 10. Please only elaborate on your top 5. You know, Troy won't listen to me on that. But what's your top 10?
In case you didn't know, Dune did not make the list. Reminiscence did, though, at number 10. If you like noir, definitely go see it. It's a really, really, really well done noir love story, I think is the best way to say that.
And I'm really, I know I said don't elaborate, but I'm really glad you included that. I almost put it on my top 20 kind of, but so many people just savagely attacked that movie. This is, I guess they didn't get it, but I thought it was a very well done movie that kind of was really underappreciated.
Yeah, especially when you get to that whole, tell me a story that begins in the middle.
Mm.
Oh, so good. So good. No Man of God, number 9. Cruella, I thought, the movie that nobody really wanted, actually did a really great job at number 8. In the Heights, just because it's fun. Afterlife, up there as well for Ghostbusters, because, man, it's the Ghostbusters we all wanted and needed, and it was amazing. Quiet Place 2, another movie that never should have needed to take place, and they really pulled off a great job of continuing the story literally right before it went off. And you could watch these back to back in the same sitting, and it would have been an amazing 3-hour journey. The Don't Look Up coming in right after that. It's so funny. It's so great. It's so stupid. We're all screwed as human beings.
We are.
The Last Duel up there at number 3. I think we've talked that one to death, but definitely go see it. It is also one that may have missed your radar because of all the stupid press that was around it. Do not listen to anybody, especially anybody related to this movie that marketed it, because they marketed it wrong. And it's really, really good. And it's a really, really important message. Please go see The Last Duel. You can actually buy it right now. It's on sale for $10. So just buy it for $10. Tick, Tick, Boom, number 2, because Spider-Man has to be number 1. It was just cheer. It was like Endgame all over again at Spider-Man in my theater.
Love it.
And I saw it 2 weeks later on a Monday, and it was still that way and still packed.
So I have number 10, Cruella, number 9, Violet, which I know Aaron will elaborate on.
I will. Yep.
Number 8,
which I would have seen and probably been on my list had I not just seen it for the first time on Aaron's post on the website today.
Oh, which you can read at thehollywoodoutsider.com if you want to hear a full breakdown of my top 10.
Number 8, Shang-Chi. Number 7, In the Heights. Number 6, Black Widow. Number 5, Free Guy. Just tremendous. I know we talked about it already. Number 4, it was called Recovery. It's now called Stop and Go. This was another film that premiered at the festival earlier this year. Yeah. It's on VOD now. I'm curious how it'll hold up now.
Is it Stop and Go or Hit and Run?
It's Stop and Go.
Stop and Go? Okay.
Yeah. And it's essentially about these 2 sisters who have to road trip to try to save their grandma from... She's in a nursing home and COVID is rampant. And it's really, it makes you laugh at not at the pandemic, but just like some of the things that we've endured and experienced like all of the wildness of trying to like keep yourself safe and everything. And they literally think that they need to save her. Like, we're going to battle. We're going to save grandma.
It's funny. It's very funny.
And it is hilarious.
Yeah.
I actually watched it twice. I enjoyed it so much. And that is incredibly rare for me. Number 3, which is funny that it's considered this, but since awards want to consider it, I'll consider it. Bo Burnham Inside.
Mm.
I'm so
amazing
glad
comedy
list.
special. Yes.
Because that's exactly right. It's a one-man comedy special. It's not a movie. And that's the only reason I didn't put it on my list. But it is funny from start to finish.
To the point where I still sing the songs, because that's how his comedy works. He makes these incredibly funny and witty songs, and he actually has a good voice, and the music is enjoyable. So I listen to his comedy specials / movies / music on Spotify constantly. It is just incredible. Number 2, I have Spider-Man No Way Home. I feel like I don't need to say much more about that. And then number 1, which is probably surprising, but it is my favorite movie of the year. And I said that as soon as I finished watching it. I knew it was going to continue to be my favorite, is Coda, which is available on Apple TV Plus. Or is it Apple TV? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, Apple TV Plus.
It is.
Plus.
Okay, so it is a
Apple
plus.
TV is the box.
Okay, gotcha. It is a tremendous and just deeply gut-wrenching at times story, but still very heartfelt story about a family of fishermen and women, and they're trying to make their way through the world, but they're all deaf except for one daughter. And she is kind of the navigator for the family to communicate with everybody else. And they deeply rely on her, but she has her own dreams and goals, and she's trying to determine, what's best for the family, what's best for me. I really want to pursue this, and what then happens to my family who can't. People just don't know sign language. They don't know how to communicate. It's very much, you're an outsider if you don't have all of your abilities. But this sort of takes being deaf and makes it a superpower. And it feels like you can deeply resonate with everything they're going through. And it's an added benefit to know ASL. That's a different thing if I say ALS. So I would highly encourage you to watch Coda on Apple TV Plus.
That's one of the very, very few that I have not had a chance to watch yet. And I regret it. I've tried to catch up with, I even got Tick Tick Boom in. I just haven't got a chance to watch Coda, but I haven't heard anyone say they didn't like that film, which is good to know.
I'm excited you got Tick Tick Boom in. Good for you.
Yeah, I did. What was it? You're number 2, right? You're number 2 or number 1? Number 2? And yeah, I think everybody should watch Coda, watch Tick Tick Boom. I didn't love Tick Tick Boom as much as you did, Troy. It did not make my top 10 list.
Nobody loves it as much as he does.
Well,
Arjan does.
Arjan Davenport, I believe, did love that film.
I think both John and I loved it, but none of us love it as much as Troy, who literally just has it on repeat.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
I just don't think the music is as catchy as other musicals. In the Heights is way catchier as far as I'm concerned. But maybe it speaks more to you because you love theater. I mean, you love the theater, and that really speaks to the creative mindset of an artist who's trying to create theater. So
yeah, I mean, and I saw Kinky Boots for the first time this year, and I can tell you that I appreciated the story of Kinky Boots. I thought it was really well done. The music in Kinky Boots did not grab me at all.
That happens sometimes. So my top 10 are Val is number 10, documentary on Val Kilmer. It's on Amazon Prime. Watch it. It is worth it. Werewolves Within, video game movie that rocks. Who knew? Knives Out with Werewolves. Werewolves Within. Find it.
So good. So good.
So good. Fun. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Suck it, Snyder haters. That's a fantastic movie and definitely worth watching on HBO Max. So check that out. But I still don't want to restore the Snyderverse. Sorry. Number 10, 9, 8, 7. Cruella. Didn't need it. Still loved it. Weird. Number 6, The Beta Test. You probably haven't heard it. There's a full review on the site if you want to find more about it. But it basically, Hollywood agent gets an envelope, tells him to throw in his sexual proclivities, and then return it, which he does. And then he ends up having a dalliance with a random stranger, and his life just goes crazy. It's a really creative, interesting movie that nobody is talking about. So find that, The Beta Test. Number 5, Free Guy. I elaborated on Beta Test because I knew Free Guy we've talked about 100 times. So I'm going into The Last Duel. Again, I think that to kind of harken back to what Troy just said, I think it's an important movie as well as a great movie. And I love the whole point of the film is Jodie Comer's character says she's raped, and it gives each perspective of the 3 major characters, their perspective on the events that happen. And each of them vary in very specific ways. And it really goes to how people put their own perceptions into the story. And it's a really interesting way to tell a story, very Rashomon style, if you've ever seen that. And it's a beautiful film. Definitely recommend it. Number 3, my favorite musical of the year, In the Heights. Man, 96,000, best musical number ever put to film, my opinion. I just think it's phenomenal. The music is fantastic. Anthony Ramos is just electric. It's just a beautiful movie across the board. Number 2, Violet. Oh my God. Justine Bateman directs Olivia Munn. 2 people I never thought I would be raving about. Not because of anything against them. It's just they've never really popped as, wow, fantastic. And their respective field, I just like them, you know. Olivia Munn, I think, was just amazing. As also, she works in Hollywood. She sells films. But basically, she's a real person. She's fighting that voice in her head who's constantly being negative. It's voiced by Justin Theroux, who's just telling her all the things that make her doubt herself. That doubting, nagging voice many of us have that kind of is in the back of our mind telling us why we won't succeed, why we can't do this, why we can't do that. All the doubt in your mind is that voice. And she's fighting it and fighting it and fighting it and trying to come out of it so she can live a better life, because her life is a struggle because of that constant doubt. And it's just intensely creative, original, unique, damn near, I would say, brilliant. I just think it's a fantastic film that nobody is talking about because, unfortunately, it's one of those independent films that just flew under the radar and just never caught traction. But it is a great movie. It's called Violet. Find it. It really speaks to mental health and just how we all need to get control of that voice in our head before it destroys certain aspects of our lives. And number 1, well, actually, Violet, Amanda, that was on your list. Do you concur with everything I said?
100%. And I will say you can rent it for like $5 from Apple TV, YouTube, Google Play Store, Amazon Prime. It's on Vudu. Ooh. So you have plenty of options to watch it.
Excellent. And number 1, I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home, we've talked about it ad nauseum. It's the Spider-Man movie I've always wanted to see. I did not love the previous 2 Spider-Man movies. I have not loved Tom Holland's version of Peter Parker because it's just Tony Stark light. There's a lot of things that really bothered me about the whole character and how I just forgot who Peter Parker was, or just put it on the back end because they were more interested in pairing him up with Tony Stark because he's super popular and Robert Downey Jr. is enigmatic and we want him to hang out with him more in movies and stuff like that. This is the movie that finally brought Peter Parker to the forefront. It rewards fans of every Spider-Man movie. And there's a reason why it's a juggernaut across the world, is because it just warms your heart, makes you smile. It's what cinema is all about. Martin Scorsese, you can kiss my ass. That is cinema, where it can bring everybody together of all ages and creeds and genders and everything. And they just have joy and they share moments. That's cinema. And that's what Spider-Man No Way Home was.
Hallelujah, Lord, baby Jesus, amen.
Okay. Now we're going to wrap this show up. But first, we've got our listener top 10. I'm going to go through these pretty quick. These are the top 10 in order from 10 to 1 from listeners. They voted. A lot of votes were cast through a lot of TV shows, but these are the ones that emerged as the top 10. Number 10, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Suck it, Troy.
What?
That's what the listener said. Number 9, Squid Game. Number 8, Dexter, New Blood. Number 7, The Witcher. Number 6, Only Murders in the Building. Number 5, Mayor of Easttown. Number 4, Loki. Number 3, Ted Lasso. Number 2 was WandaVision.
Frick yeah.
And the whole TV show of the year was Hawkeye.
Wow.
That's actually quite the surprise.
That is a bit of a surprise. I expected Only Murders in the Building to be number one.
For sure.
So, Troy, now you have every incentive to watch Hawkeye.
For sure. Well, I mean, I got to watch Falcon Winter Soldier and Loki first before, because it's all like connected and stuff. So I guess I got to go watch Jessica Jones.
You
and
watched Falcon and the Winter
Punisher.
Soldier, or did you not even continue with it? You didn't even finish it.
No, I got to
Okay.
episode 2 and fell asleep. I fell asleep in the first episode 3 times, and I fell asleep in the second episode 1 time. I'm like, I'm done. If I'm falling asleep, it's not catching my attention.
That's my
Honestly,
Boba Fett thing. That's what I feel about Boba Fett.
For Hawkeye, you could probably, as long as you've seen Black Widow, I think you'd probably be fine.
You'll be fine.
It would be helpful for you to have seen
Nah.
what Netflix shows have you
Black
seen?
Widow. You just need to see
None
Black
of the
Widow.
I didn't watch any of the Netflix Marvel stuff.
You don't need to.
Which
All right.
one do I need to watch?
No, you're fine. I think you're fine. As long as you've seen Black Widow, it'll all make sense.
Is Sharon Carter in any of them?
Unfortunately, no. I wish I could spoil that and say yes, because it would make me excited that she was back, but So top 10 for movies from listeners. Number 10, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Number 9, No Time to Die. James Bond makes an appearance. What? Number 8, Nobody. That's kind of surprising to me in the top 10.
Nice.
Number 10, 9, 8, 7, Cruella. I have a hard time remembering Cruella at 7. Number 6, Dune. Wrong.
Wow.
That's wrong. Let's just redo this. Let's retake that. I'm just kidding. Good for you if you enjoyed Dune. A lot of people did. Probably people that read the book.
It's the best visual representation of the book, yes, but it's a horrible movie.
It's average. It's average, right? I just think it's average. But you guys loved it, so good for you. Number 5, Black Widow. Number 4, The Suicide Squad. That was a really good movie, too. That was fun.
It was good. I'm surprised it didn't make any of our lists.
Sorry. Number 3 was Free Guy. Number 2, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. That's another good one. Glad that it's there. That's a fun movie. And number 1, Spider-Man No Way Home. Big surprise.
No surprise.
Makes sense. All millennials listening to this show.
Jesus.
I feel like our demographic is not particularly millennials.
Didn't literally all of us have Spider-Man No Way Home as our top
Yes.
one? Yeah. So we're millennials now?
I think only Amanda, because she's the Marvel person, had Shang-Chi.
Fair enough. All right. Now we took all of those lists, Amanda, Troy, me, listeners, threw them in a blender and determined, based on the average and placement in all of those lists, what was both the Ho TV series of the year and the Ho movie of the year. So the Ho TV show of the year, Only Murders in the Building. Good
choice.
Awesome.
Good choice. That one was actually really, really, really close with Ted Lasso, but it won. That's all that matters. Home movie of the year, Spider-Man No Way Home. Hang on.
Of course.
Drum roll. Spider-Man No Way Home. There you go. Now, we're going to close the show out. The show is done, but there's one thing left. Keep this to 1 minute or less. Your whole teachable minute from 2021. What was the biggest lesson you learned from 2021?
I learned that nothing matters more than the people you love. That what is grief if not love persevering? It's everything.
Is that a WandaVision reference?
It is a WandaVision reference.
Jesus Christ.
And
You
it's
got a problem.
very good. It's very good line.
It's
It was
so,
very good line. It's a great line.
It is a great line, but it's also very real for so many people in the world in the pandemic.
Well, you're turning it, so I can't mock you now. Kiss my ass. That
Yeah.
No, this is a great reference.
Well, I mean, besides no be here, no be there. That when you post your year in review of your entertainment habits and people actually question if they're right or not, you've actually achieved victory, because it meant you went outside more this year.
It's true.
Good for you.
And a lot of people go like, those numbers cannot be right.
For me, I learned that movie theaters matter, that people love streaming, and both can still coexist despite people on both sides of preferences demanding the other die.
Did you learn that? Because I feel like you already knew that.
No, I learned it because I didn't agree with it at the beginning of the year. So
That's right.
I'm here now.
It was like, theaters only, go to the theater.
Pretty much. Yep. I've come to understand more. I've grown. Unlike the Green Knight, I've evolved.
I see what you did there.
Okay, well, we are done. Please go to the show website, which is thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Please subscribe if you haven't already. You can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Spotify, you can rate shows now. Please rate us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anything else you're listening to it, because it does help the show. We're kicking the year off. All your reviews would help. You don't have to write anything. 5-star it and then get out of there. That's all you got to do, but it helps. It really, really does. But leave us a review if you want. We'd love to hear it. And if we see one, we'll read them on the show. So there you go. Incentive. Amanda, say bye.
Well, first, I want to say I would love to hear from our listeners if they are interested in doing the Oscar contest again this year. As we're nearing some of that, is there interest?
Okay.
And also, bye.
Fair enough. Feedback at thehollywoodoutsiders.com, or we're at Buy Popcorn on Twitter, or we're on Facebook on The Hollywood Outsider. Troy, anything?
I just want to ask the listeners if they're interested in the 2022 airing potentially in 2023 Golden Globes contest that may or may not exist.
No, I'm not interested.
If we have it, nobody will see it. Oh, that's funny. And I just want to say thanks everybody for listening. I know we've been gone for actually quite a while, because we had the Cobra Kai spoiler cast, but outside of that, we haven't really had anything in several weeks. So thanks for sticking around. We're kicking the year off. Next week will be our film and TV release a palooza or extravaganza. I forgot what I called it.
Release?
What did I say? Release?
You said release.
We're going to talk about all the movies and TV that are coming out in 2022. And hopefully John Davenport will be back for that. So come back next week and we're going to have more fun podcasts. We're going to have some of our Patreon supporters are going to be on the show here soon. And a lot of other things are coming up. So thanks everybody for listening. And remember, the next time you head to a theater or sit comfortably on your couch streaming in 2022 and anybody's giving you grief, no, be there. It's very important.
No, be there.
Buy popcorn.
I'm just going to start saying that to people. Like when they ask me, do you have time for this meeting? I'm going to say, no, be there.